What's up, Kellan?
What's up, Beckham?
What's up, Beckham? I'm doing great, honestly.
Yeah.
Living life.
Yeah.
I'm in Canada.
Yeah, it's a great country.
It's a great country.
I wouldn't want to live anywhere else in the world.
Exactly.
And I've been around.
I've been around as well. I've seen the poverty firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy.
And the insanity in the
Exactly.
United States. Come on. You want that? You want that shit show
No, I
over
don't
your
think,
head at all times?
You know what? It's horrible there. It's horrible.
I bet.
Like, their economy is so good, but it's horrible. Like, focus on the goddamn citizens for once. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Focus on them.
Yeah, and everybody's paranoid that everyone else got a gun and they're going to shoot them.
I know, man. That gun shit, I don't even want to get involved with that. That's just another topic, to be honest. And it's like, I think people should have their ability to protect themselves.
Yeah.
That should be a, right that citizens have.
Yeah.
And obviously there's going to be people who don't agree with that, and people who think that it's a issue of national safety, and I think it's their choice on what they want to believe.
Yeah, I understand being pro-gun, but I think a lot of United States people are pro-shooting people. So, and that's what troubles me a little bit about the mindset of
the
many
mindset
Americans.
of the Americans is quite different, and I think you can talk about that because psychologically,
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but
they're the world police. They're the
yes, they are. They have
the superpower.
They are the superpower. In fact, the nuclear missiles that they have, the numbers that they have for those missiles are so big that in fact that if you put every country in the world together, the United States would have more nuclear missiles.
How's China doing with their nuclear program?
Shit, man, China.
How many they got?
I think they're not ahead of Trump.
Okay.
Or the United States, sorry. They're not even close. I think they're in the thousands, I believe. I don't know if it's the thousands, but the United States is, I think, 10,000. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard that the U.S. is in debt like $400 trillion
Are they?
to China.
Oh, really?
So basically China owns the U.S. and the U.S.'s power is waning.
Well, I don't know about that, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know about the debt, but
There was this conspiracy theory that I heard recently from a guy that I met at a gun course. I was actually considering getting a firearm.
interesting.
Yeah.
You just wanted to tell the world that, or?
Yeah. I just want to be able to protect myself in case society collapses and it's Mad Max,
So how'd that gun course go?
Oh, I failed it. I pointed the shotgun at the instructor. You're not allowed to do that. So
I think everyone is aware that you're not supposed to do that.
yeah, I was aware of it too, but I had actually stayed up all night editing that podcast number 3.
3-hour podcast. Go watch it.
Yeah, I was so inspired, and I forgot all about this course that I had last weekend. And 8:30 in the morning, I get a notification on my phone saying your class is in an hour, and I said to myself, "Oh shit!"
So you set notifications on your phone?
Yeah, calendar
Oh, okay.
notifications.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just gonna move this closer. It's just my wires hitting the thing. But
His wire was hitting the thing.
Yes,
so
it was.
He had to move that. Yeah.
I think it should be good now.
There we go.
Yeah. No, it's interesting.
Yeah. I was thinking of getting like a little black Glock and just putting it in a safe and wiring it to my wall and everything and just keeping it there just in case.
Yeah. No, it's good to have safety. In fact, our 10th guru provided us with the kirpan for personal safety.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Because of the discrimination
And our 10th guru sought to kind of create this Sikhism, Sikhi, which you know of, and he said that there were so many people low caste, and then they said anyone who becomes a Sikh or lives a Sikh lifestyle, you wear a turban, you will stand out of millions because you're wearing a turban, you look different, right? So he kind of made this ideology of how a Sikh will look like, and he'll stand out of everyone. A Singh, essentially, a lion. A lion stands out of the rest of the animals in the jungle, just like Lion King. Actually,
that's cool.
He's on the top of the food chain. So
yes,
yeah,
That's cool.
So that's why, we got this distinct look.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's a nice look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, hey?
Yeah, and so I met that dude, and he told me this theory that coronavirus was actually made by Americans in China.
Really?
Yeah.
Coronavirus was made by Americans in China. I have a hard time believing that.
That's
I have a hard time.
Well, did you know that he's talking about, like, if you walk around Hong Kong,
Yep.
it's mostly Americans.
Okay.
Mostly, like, there's tons of American business people in China.
I think I know why.
There's Americans working in Wuhan, working in their virus programs.
Interesting.
And
I think part of the reason to why that is because many of the rich people who are in America don't want their money being taxed. So what they do is they invest in certain corporations or things like that in Hong Kong. Not only Hong Kong, but I think the United Arab Emirates as well. So they keep their money outside of America. But what Trump is doing, he wants to bring that money in. And that's why their economy is so boosted. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of the reason why many of the Americans are out there.
American debt to China.
According to Investopedia, as of May 2020, the Asian nation owns $1.08 trillion, or about
holy shit!
$25.8 trillion U.S. national debt.
25.8 trillion, so not 400 trillion, but a lot of damn money. 28
That's
trillion
a lot of money.
dollars.
You showed me how.
I showed you how to visually imagine what 1 trillion is, right?
That's not even 1 trillion.
No,
That's
you've got a
trillions.
billion, and it would take up, like, a small room.
Yeah.
In $100 bills.
Yes.
And then you got a trillion, and you're talking double stacked what you saw of that billion.
But 10 times as long and 10 times as wide.
I think 1,000 times bigger. Like, it's a warehouse. It's a massive warehouse full of hundreds. So a trillion is an unbelievable amount of money.
That's amazing.
And so he said, well, imagine you had that debt, and you could never pay it back. It's
So how
impossible.
are
You
they
can never
gonna
pay it back. China owns you. So what do? Maybe you try and wipe them out. This is his conspiracy theory. He thought that Americans thought, well, here's what we'll do. We'll create this virus, and we'll just let it loose in China.
Well, what about the conspiracy theory of the Lebanon attack? Did you hear about that yesterday?
No, what happened?
Are you serious?
I'm in the dark here. Yeah.
Dude, oh my god.
You even
Kellan!
told me, didn't you? You're on the phone. You're like, check out what happened in Lebanon. And I, like, started to Google it.
Dude,
but I was just like, nah.
Do you even watch the news?
No, I get all my news from friends on the internet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, then the internet has it.
Of course, but I was busy watching a different podcast.
There was an explosion, dude.
Okay.
People died.
How many?
25, I think.
25 people?
I think over 25, I think. I don't know what I'm saying. I think it was 1,000.
Okay.
Well, last thing I read. Well, when I heard of it. Because when I read it, all the casualties weren't discovered yet. So I think it went up, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah. How many people died in the Lebanon attack yesterday?
I found this on the web.
Oh, shoot. This found statistics. Yeah, no, but it was a...
So what was it? Some kind of a terrorist?
It was a terrorist attack.
By who do they think?
I don't know. They're still investigating.
Yeah.
You would have to look into it. I know just as little as anyone, but I just saw the videos of how it went down. Like, I think the radius in which people were affected was huge. Like, people made the video of this tower burning up, and when the explosion happened, you can see the shockwave, and all the glass shattered. It was crazy, and
Yeah.
I was surprised. Holy shit, this is some big ass terrorist attack, and yeah.
Yeah, so I asked him, so why would they release a virus that's going to go all over the world? And he said, well, he thinks they fucked up. Like, they meant to just spread it around China, but they didn't realize people were going to travel and take it with them everywhere.
Do you know who Robert Malthus was?
Thomas Malthus?
I think it was Robert Malthus.
No, I don't think so.
Search it up.
Yeah.
It
Thomas
was-
Malthus.
Oh, shoot.
Thomas Robert Malthus.
Yeah, it was Robert.
It's
So.
Thomas.
Shut the hell up.
Okay, so what about him?
So it was Robert as well. Okay, technically it was a 50-50.
We're
You
both
were
right.
correct. Yeah, okay. So
Okay.
it was Thomas Robert Malthus. He said that disease, war, and all these things would reduce the population, and I think the population was overgrowing, and maybe his kind of theory of like disease killing people was a viable solution for the United States to explore, and they must have done it on purpose.
Population reduction. Yeah, but again, that's conspiracy thinking. I'm not a biologist. I heard one biologist say that he thinks that it was man-made but accidentally escaped
What
from the
happened
laboratory.
to the bat idea?
Well, it was bat-borne. Like it's a virus that comes from bats, but this one guy believes that it was altered. That the virus was altered because they were trying to prevent pandemics. They were trying to make it transmissible to humans and then figure out how to stop it.
Well,
but in
that
the process,
didn't work.
That didn't work. It escaped from the lab and then went all over the world.
I don't think that's true.
No, what do you think happened?
I think it was just a bat and someone ate it, and then it transcended into this pandemic.
But the problem with that is that when that happens, like if a virus jumps from a bat where it's evolved to be
Yeah.
into a human, it's not used to transmitting between humans. Like it
Yeah, I
has to
understand.
evolve for its
It has to
host.
evolve,
So there's a
yeah.
period of time, like a host population, where it's not very good at transmitting, and then
Yes.
it gets better. It evolves new ways to transmit better between
What
humans.
if the person who ate this bat was in a community that ate bats, and then
A bat
they
eating
were,
community,
yeah,
and they all got infected.
and then they all got infected, and what happened was that they just kept eating them, and then slowly it evolved, and then one of them decided to travel, and then freaking messed up all of China, and then all of China, and then to all of the United States, and then all of the world.
It's possible we just don't know where that population is.
I think China knows and identified the person because their surveillance system is amazing. Like they have cameras in every corner, there's not one place you can go in China which can, where you can hide. Like they have you like on camera everywhere.
Cool.
So I think they've possibly in the first 3 weeks they've probably gotten that guy.
Yeah, and they probably like tortured him and shot him.
I don't think so.
No, why?
Why? Because what's the point of killing someone? I don't think the Chinese government did that. I think they would kill him.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought China executes people
If they do execute people, what's the point of executing a person like
with
make
coronavirus.
them die slow? Yeah, well, no, I think he was immune to coronavirus.
I saw videos of like Chinese officials throwing people into vans.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, China's a freaking communist country, right?
State capitalists.
I wouldn't say that. They're communist. They're asshole communists. The communist idea was sought to be this really like beautiful idea. It was like, there's going to be a ruler and we're going to have this just society, and but then it just turned into one asshole ruler. And
Yeah. Communism is like to each according to their need. Something about according to their ability.
what?
I don't know.
What did he just say?
Let's Google it.
Okay, we got to stop this Googling shit. Let's just
From
have a
each
good
according
podcast.
to the need to each according to the from each according to the need and the ability, communism. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need. So what that means is like everybody contributes what they can, and then everybody gets what they need.
Interesting.
That was the idea. It was like a sharing, happy utopia.
Sharing happy utopia.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, that was the idea. But in practice, it doesn't work with human nature.
I just gotta say, this podcast is stupidly funny.
Is it?
It's just like, it's just a funny podcast,
Good. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I guess.
Whatever.
I'm trying to combine serious ideas with humor. It's hard to do.
Yeah, I know, right? How do they do that?
I don't know.
This is like worse than our first podcast, dude.
It is. It's really bad. Want to start again?
We already are 30 minutes in. Yeah, let's just start again, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it.
Okay.
Why are we so skeptical and shit today?
I don't know. What do you mean skeptical?
No, not skeptical. Why are we so like conservative? Not conservative. Why are we so?
I don't know. You know what? Let's just let the show be what it is.
Yeah, fuck it. We can't
Okay.
put terms to it.
Yeah. Okay. Start again. What's up, Beckham?
What's up, Kellan? Episode number 4. Hey,
Episode 4. How you doing today?
how are your fingers doing after all that editing?
My fingers hurt from Jiu-Jitsu, actually.
Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah.
First, kickboxing and now jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, they just opened it up again with coronavirus.
Uh-huh.
So now we're allowed to have just one partner.
So what do you do in jiu-jitsu?
You basically it's like wrestling.
Uh-huh.
It's wrestling. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
So you can beat the shit out of people?
Exactly. Break their arms, strangle them, break their legs.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So where's this going? You got to go to a gun course to learn about guns. You're doing kickboxing and
Yeah.
learning how to kill people?
Yeah, I like to know how to defend myself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you think defending yourself is important in today's society?
I think it's important to living things to be able to defend themselves because we live in a dangerous world.
But who are you compared to what many powerful people are? Like, these powerful people have everything. Like, they have, the best of the best guns. They have the best of the best people. Like, it's crazy what the world is today.
It's still you never know like what's going to happen. Right?
That's true.
And you never know how powerful you and I will become.
People subscribe right now.
Yeah,
We can become powerful people, yeah.
we can.
Who knows? Maybe you become the Prime Minister of Canada.
Yeah, it's just about being ready. Being prepared.
Exactly, yes, it is.
Yeah, you want.
You
do
never
the best
know
you
when
can.
someone can come up behind you and,
You never know when a nuclear bomb's going to drop and society's going to break down, and
Exactly.
it's just going to be utter chaos, right?
Exactly.
So, yes, you're right. Lots of people have guns. Maybe we should have one. Maybe I should have one.
We should.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's a core value. Like, I think it's a core right that citizens of Canada should have and be able to attain, because having a gun is personal security. It should be a right.
Right, as long as you understand how to be safe about
Safe
it,
with
and
it,
that's
yes.
what the course is for.
Yeah,
They're
that's
very
great.
careful to train you.
So how'd your course go?
I failed.
Why'd you fail?
Well, I was loading the shotgun,
Uh-huh.
and you put the bullet or the shell in the bottom,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't quite clip it in properly.
Okay.
So when I turned the thing upside down and went chick, the shell fell out, and I was a bit nervous. It was the
Yeah.
second gun I was
Yeah.
demonstrating for the instructor, and so right after it fell out, I went, oh shit, and I reached down and grabbed it, and that shotgun just kind of angled over, to the instructor
Oh shit.
while I was bending down,
Yeah.
and
then you aimed it at him.
then I just heard the words, "That's a fail.
Oh, he said that's a fail?
That's a fail."
He said that's a fail.
He said, "That's a fail," and then he said, "You just pointed the shotgun at me," which is like pretty much the number one rule that you're supposed to follow is don't control your muzzle at all times.
Interesting. That's hilarious.
So I violated that important principle.
I think it happens, just try again, dude.
Yeah, well, I don't have to take the course again. I just have to take the practical again.
Yeah.
So that's 15 minutes next Sunday.
Cool.
And then I'll be eligible to get a
A firearm.
restricted and non-restricted firearms license.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what does that include?
That includes hunting rifles, shotguns, and pistols.
Interesting. That's neat.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, and I think it's great that you're getting that.
Yeah.
One day I will try to go and do that course.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's
man.
fun. I mean, it's fun to handle weapons and learn how to load
Weapons
them.
are cool. They are powerful, but with a lot of power comes a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, which is why I would want to store it very safely. I have a child in the home, right?
Yeah.
So,
get
I
a
would want
safe.
a safe with a long combination and a safe that's chained to the wall. So it's
That's
not
great.
accessible and people can't steal it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yep. especially in today's society where we see a lot of violence and a lot of racism and stuff like that. So it's great to have a weapon where you can defend yourself.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. So, did you hear about the attack in Lebanon?
You told me about it. I was watching something else last night, so I didn't look into it.
Yeah, it's crazy. A missile hit in, I think, Beirut, Lebanon. Crazy. Killed a lot of people. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was a huge missile, and it kind of hit in, I think, the center near the coast. But what it did was it created a huge shockwave, and this shockwave was immensely strong, and it shattered the glass everywhere in that radius.
And this is a country that's not at war. It's just a terrorist type attack.
Yes. I think it was a terrorist type attack.
Yeah.
Or it could be at war, You don't know, so I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We were talking about the conspiracy theory that coronavirus was actually orchestrated by the United States as a way to try and erase their debt to China by wiping out, the people of China with the virus.
That's interesting. It's very interesting.
What did we say the debt was?
$28.5
trillion.
Yes, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
You showed me a visual representation of how that would actually, look like, and it's nowhere near $1 billion.
It's way more than $1 billion.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, search up, guys. Search it up. $1 trillion visual representation, and you will be amazed. It's that interesting.
Yeah, like $1 billion would be a room.
Yeah.
Well, actually, like one pallet, like full of, or no, it's just basically a room full of $100 bills, right? Stacked on some pallets, 6 pallets or something like that. And then with trillions, you can imagine those pallets, but they're stacked double high, and it's a massive warehouse. You just see this little man standing beside this enormous double stacked warehouse full of $100 bills, and that's $1 trillion. It's an unimaginable amount of money.
Imagine $1 bills.
That's impossible. They don't have that many ones.
Oh, they could.
I don't even think they have that many hundreds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you know that only like a small percentage of currency is actual paper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, I think it's reasonable, right? Why would you have so much paper money?
Most people use their cards.
Yeah.
Like I went and paid cash today at the Subway, and they always assume you're going to use your card, right?
Yeah.
They don't even ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do. I'm a cashier at Save on Foods. Everyone already knows this, but I always assume that people are going to use the debit. So I just click the debit.
Yeah.
What happens is you have to end
Cancel
up canceling it.
Yeah.
And that happens to me about 50 times a day, 50 at least. Has to, because I always just assume it's debit these days.
Right.
Yeah.
And you must actually have so many people come through your till to have that many, because way more people are using card.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I go through many customers a day.
Yeah.
Like it's fast process. Actually, not 50. I'm kind of over exaggerating.
Right.
Probably 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's an 8-hour shift, so I don't know the exact ratios of how many customers we get in like 8 hours, but I know the money we make. It's a lot of money. I don't think I'm allowed to disclose this information. Probably get fired the next day. That would be a funny podcast, eh?
That would be. Oh, I was watching David Cho on the Joe Rogan podcast yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's an interesting guy.
I watched that too. You sent me.
You actually watched the whole thing?
Well, I
watched
your clip, and
Yeah.
I actually searched that guy up.
Yeah.
I didn't know his name, so it took me like 10 minutes to search his name up.
Yeah.
And yeah, David Cho.
Cho.
Oh, sorry.
think.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's interesting. He's very interesting, and
He's an
I
artist.
think he is an artist. I've seen some of his artwork, and it's beautiful. I think it's
very
in
cool.
LA, I believe, most of his artwork. So you know how that podcast about religion, and we talked about all that materialistic stuff and all that. I told you, like, look, even with the highest pleasures you can attain, you still have a gap in your life.
You'll still suffer.
You'll still suffer. Yeah.
They still suffer. Rich, the most powerful.
You
people,
saw that guy cry. He had.
richest people.
It wasn't just Anthony he was missing there. It was something else. You can tell. It's not just one guy. It's like he's missing this. It's a gap in his soul. Like you can see that.
I don't know if it's a gap in his soul. It's just he suffers. That's he's got psychological issues for sure. But most people do.
Yeah, but he's the richest guy. Like how can what are psychological issues essentially? Like what do they entail? Pain, right? And how do you why do you have that pain? Because of what? Stress of worldly issues, stress of you're not successful. Well, that guy's successful. He has everything. So what does he need to have pain and stress about? Like essentially nothing.
But essentially
it's that one thing he's missing: spiritualism.
Maybe he actually took a 10-second meditation break in that interview.
Oh, really?
And at the end, Joe's like, "This is the weirdest podcast we've ever done."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think Joe Rogan needs to have that experience.
Joe meditates all the time. He's got a float tank in his house.
What the hell?
Yeah, you know a float tank?
A floating tank?
No, it's a tank that has salt water in it, some kind of salts in it, so that when you lay in it, you float.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a sensory deprivation chamber. So you lay in there and you meditate.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a meditator for sure. But he asked Jamie, the tech guy, like, "Are you okay with dead air?" And then he's like, "Okay." Just starts meditating.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, meditation is very strong. It can help you calm down.
You meditate?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
Well, I just sit down and chant the name of the one God.
Okay. Yeah. In Buddhism,
which is Waheguru.
We do what do you call it? Mantra type stuff too. Like not so much. Yeah. There's other traditions that do that as a sort of central practice. But Buddhism, there's just like a couple of words that you might say and just repeat. It calms the mind.
Interesting.
It gives the what do you call it? The verbal
cortex
part of your mind something to do. You know, so that it's not just running around.
There have been like neuroscientists who study the brain, I believe.
Yeah.
They have seen the brain's activity significantly drop in, I think it's read that significant what's the word? Signifies kind of more brain activity, and then the blue signifies a huge drop in it. And then you can see if they actually I think it was a Buddhist monk who they did a test on, and you can see his brain activity was all blue. There was no red. And it's interesting because it's working. The meditation is there, and that's scientific evidence.
It is, yeah. The capacity to control the mind is pretty amazing.
Yes, it is.
Like, people don't know that. Most people don't never occurs to them to try and control their own mind.
Own mind, yeah. It's the thoughts, actually. The thoughts that kind of... What's that sound?
Trucks, man. There's sounds. We're not in a soundproof studio, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, we'll get there.
Yeah. Actually, I just met a guy at my Jiu-Jitsu. My partner is a filmmaker, and he has a studio. Cool. He hasn't set it up yet, but he said he bought a space.
Interesting.
For a studio, so I guess we'll be working there from now on.
That's great. We'll make it.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's scientific evidence of being able to control your mind. Actually, I was talking about thoughts, right? It's the thoughts that kind of entail all that brain activity, and then when the mind keeps thinking, it just doesn't have a chance to rest, and essentially that's what you have to get rid of, and that through meditation, that's what happens. And then when you kill your thoughts, it's essentially
Kill is kind of a harsh word for.
Well, I would say I would use kill, because your thoughts are very powerful, and you know that better than anyone. But you can't just be like your thoughts. The amount of power they have is you can't even imagine. Your thoughts control you, essentially, right? I think kill is a perfect word to describe how to get rid of those thoughts.
What worries me is that people in the Western world, for some reason, are very hard on themselves.
Yes, they are.
So you say kill the mind, that may lead them to suicide.
I knew you would say that.
Well, it's true.
It is true. It is very true.
Yeah.
It may.
It may. So maybe a more gentle terminology. So you have to adapt for the culture that
I
you're
do,
in, right?
I know, but like, I'm just saying that like the amount of power the thoughts
Calm
have.
the
Yeah,
mind.
calm the mind, I guess. But you gotta
Tranquilize
it.
thoughts. Still the thinking.
I think tranquilize is a good word.
Yeah.
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 But tranquilize only works for a specific time. Kill
Tranquility.
kills it.
And then when it's very, very calm, kill it.
You just why not kill it in the first place? So I don't mean kill it like physically, mentally. And that's not just like, you're not worth anything. I'm not talking about it in that sense. I'm talking about the thoughts that people have on a day-to-day basis. This is that, this is society, and interpreting it, just like chill out, god damn it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just chill the hell out. Like, the amount of thoughts we have on a day-to-day basis is crazy, and I don't know the exact number, but it's over. What would it be over? Like 1,000? Over 2,000? 20,000?
Yeah, it's up there.
I think it's over 50,000.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just people have this tyrant in their mind that is constantly trying to control everything, and that's actually what needs to calm down. That's what needs to stop. But the idea of killing the mind is just like, well, you're giving that tyrant another task. You're saying, hey, mental tyrant that's ordering me around and treating me like shit all day, murder the mind, right? And it's like, that's not what you want to do. You don't want to give that tyrant more power. You want to take that tyrant's power away.
Yeah, you do.
You want to turn that tyrant into a well-trained soldier.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
But I think in order to convert the mind
Yeah.
into a individual that is calm, because it's so powerful, it's so connected now, that I think it's going to be difficult to do that. Like, as a child, I think it would be easier to disconnect away from your thoughts, but then the Western society, I think, wouldn't agree with that, because they think that a child needs to develop, and this is the way a child is. It depends on how the child is. It depends on if he's a religious child, a child that comes from a culture, or if it's like just a child that is Western. That parents, it's Western parents tend to not agree with that.
Yeah, in the West, we educate our kids to constantly be absorbing knowledge, memorizing things. That's the only education that we get. It's just rote memorization and mathematics.
Yeah.
And it's all just activities of the mind.
Exactly. And if you think about education specifically, they don't teach you about, calm collectiveness and all that. They teach you just study and study and study. And I think that's very wrong, because I think some sort of religious factor or some sort of yoga even should be incorporated in a student's daily life. And I don't think physical activity is a part of that, because physical activity is just you, I think, running around.
Yeah.
And it's not giving you, even activities like physical education involve competitiveness.
Right.
And competitiveness leads to anger. And
I think we're just missing an element of the mind.
Exactly.
We're not training one element. So we have two hemispheres of our brain.
Yes, we do.
And what it looks like, the evidence looks like, the left hemisphere is mostly about doing specific tasks, focusing in on things, categorizing things. And the right hemisphere, so it's active. It's about control, right? And that's what we train in our society. When the right hemisphere is about receptivity, creativity, emotion, and all this other stuff, that we don't train emotion in Western schools. We don't sit and learn how to process and absorb the information that's coming in to process it, right? We pack information in, but there's no element because that's the two modes that
Yeah.
that thing that, like a bird, right? A bird has two
Yeah.
hemispheres, and a bird has to be aware of its environment, right? It has to be
Yes.
able to evade predators. It also has to be able to know, like, to
Yeah.
find mates and all these other things that are right hemisphere activities. And then it has to do very specific focused things like find seeds amongst gravel on the ground and pick them out with their beak.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And it's not even just the Western culture now that is still doing this, but I'd say most of Asia is also trying to convert into the Western culture, whereas creativity is being converted into more of a literacy concept. And I think it's horrible because, why do you have to change that standard? Like, even language now, people are being forced to speak English in India. I've seen this firsthand, and I'm like, wow, you've really forgotten your culture here, hey? And there are some schools, obviously, that don't do that and don't tolerate that, but I think it's horrible.
I don't know. I think that there's something maybe beneficial about the convergence of cultures.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, because it's a move towards unity.
Yes, it
and
is.
unity is a good thing. I think if there's too much difference, I'm not saying difference is a great thing. We need variety,
yes.
but I think that if there's too much difference and not enough common ground, not a bridge between, like, the English language. If everybody knew the English language, then there's a bridge between all the different cultures, and it doesn't mean they forget their own cultures and what makes them different, but it can probably help reduce conflict.
I think there will always be a bridge between culture and unity. And the reason I believe that is because the people who immigrate from, further countries like Asia and stuff like that, Europe, well, not necessarily Europe, but yeah, Asia, right? They come to Canada and they kind of face this different society, this Western culture. And what they see is, you know what, we got to preserve our culture. And I'm telling you because my parents immigrated, right? And many other people did. And I know the stories that happen. And the thing is that people want to preserve their culture. And what ends up happening is that they form these ethnic groups. And then that further leads to more conflict between other groups. But yes, there are multicultural days and stuff like that bring, communities together. But I just think that there needs to be more done in order to bring people together in terms of unity.
What can we do?
I don't know, maybe create more events.
Yeah.
Probably something like that, right? I mean, whereas
That would be good, I think.
In the Sikh community, anyone is welcome. Anyone to the Sikh temple. You can go there right now and they'll give you a free meal.
I've been to Sikh temples.
Yeah, they'll give you a free meal. The poor, the rich, anyone. At the end of the day, they're going to be going to the temple and they're going to sit on that ground and there is no high or low. That's why we sit on the ground and eat, actually. It's a respect. So respecting the land and all. Actually, in fact, if you sit down and eat on the ground with your legs crossed, you'll actually enjoy eating your food. I'll guarantee you try it tonight.
We used to do that all the time in the Buddhist monastery here in Canada, and then we switched to tables.
Yeah.
Tables and benches and chairs.
So why did you?
Just to make it more comfortable for the people of
You see,
this
comfortability
culture.
in the Western culture is what people like, especially British
It is what they
Columbia.
like, yeah.
Comfortability is a huge problem. In fact, Canadians got to get out of their comfortable zone and then they got to actually explore the real world. You know what I'm saying? Especially in British Columbia, this is a huge problem. Alberta, not so much because they are hardworking people. And I'm not saying British Columbians aren't, but I'm just saying that's where the oil rigs are. Those are the manufacturing industries. Quebecers and Ontario and Albertans, hardest workers.
Yeah.
That's where all our stuff comes from. And British Columbia, we enjoy it. We sit down,
Yeah. What I've heard is that anywhere that it's cold, anywhere that has a very cold, harsh winter, they're usually very hardworking people because they have to prepare for winter. They know that you're not going to survive. You will die if you don't have stuff stored up and prepared to get through winter. You have to shovel your driveway. You have to do all these things that we don't have to do here in BC.
Yeah.
We just pick berries like a bunch of hippies.
Yeah, I'm from the Okanagan, actually.
Yeah.
I was born in Penticton.
Right.
And, We pick a lot of berries. We have farms. And most of the time they have people doing that for them.
Right.
So you're not even picking your own berries. It's other people picking your berries.
That's true.
It's really interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think comfortability is a necessity it's actually a luxury for Canadians, whereas actually it's both. I don't know where it falls on the spectrum, but it's both, I think.
Yeah, you think it's beneficial for people to take away some of that comfort?
I think, well, we can even see it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like COVID, the CERB, Canadian Emergency Response Benefit.
Mm-hmm.
The government's given $2,000 to like every Canadian who qualifies for
Per month
per month
since this thing started.
which was February.
Yeah.
Amazing, right?
Right.
So Canadians are getting lazy day by day.
Maybe.
I think they are.
We started a podcast.
Well, yeah.
I worked very hard
Well, yes.
on this.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it's you, but many of them are. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe this is actually an experiment because they're considering universal basic income.
I have a lot to talk about that.
Yeah.
I had a meeting with Senator Johan, Canadian senator, and I think she's Philippines, and I had a meeting with her, virtual meeting, and I talked to her about universal basic income. Income.
Yeah.
Right? And I talked to her about, if there was a universal basic income, how is that even, why would you do that? Like, it's not just the poor people who are going to get the money, but it's also the rich people who are going to get the money. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, well, first of all, I talked to her about it, and she's like, well, it's not just the, she said a lot about it, actually. I don't have the actual, the conversation recorded, but she talked about it, and she's like, it's one of the things that we're trying to fix here, the issues, and she just kind of gave me an indirect answer to it, right? And I was kind of pissed off because, I got this meeting with the senator here, and she's not even answering my question properly. But my question was, if we were to implement universal basic income, how would it work? Because I don't think the middle class members would agree that the rich class or the hierarchy should get it, because
The top of the hierarchy.
Yeah, exactly. Why would they?
Why would they get an extra 2,000? You're right. There should be a cap on if you make a certain amount.
Yeah, no,
it would
but-
be sensible,
but
but it
then
would
it-
have to be a lot. It would have
But
to
then
be
it
like
wouldn't be universal. It wouldn't be universal.
Oh,
We would
right.
have to call it something else, because we can't give the rich money that they already have. It's like we're giving them money because like we're the ones who are going to be paying the taxes, and then essentially those taxes are going to the
but
rich.
it can be called universal basic income, but it's basic income. It's universally provided to people who can benefit, but then where do you cut that off? Like, where do you draw the line?
Exactly. You can't
Yeah.
draw the line. So
No.
I'm saying you can't introduce it.
Right.
You just can't call it universal basic income because
Unless you give it to everybody. Well, what if you give it to everybody? What if you give it to the rich?
No
You're
one-
giving it to a
no
few
one would
rich
agree.
people. Why?
No, because
There's
the middle
very
class,
few rich people compared to
no.
middle class and.
But then exactly, like Canada doesn't have that many rich people, right? Yes, they do. They have businessmen and all that.
right, but
yeah,
like proportionally, there's
Yeah,
fewer rich people.
But what about America?
America has it's always there's fewer rich people than everybody else.
Yes, there are, but then Canadians would be paying taxes that would be going to the rich people, and I don't think the middle class members would agree with that, because we are the working hard class. And I know rich people,
But they're getting it too. It benefits the whole society. It would be the only way to do it, right? Because if you
No,
can't
but
draw a line, then you just give it to them.
no,
Just give it to them.
you can't. You can't just give the rich what they want, because look, think about it.
What
We've
is
had
what is
protests.
$2,000 a month to a rich person? It's
Exactly.
it's a
So
drop
then why
in
do
the
they
pot.
even need it?
They don't need it, but everybody else does. And the only way to be fair is just to give it to everybody.
Or we can just make everyone rich.
How are you going to do that?
We give the poor people the money, and then not the rich people.
Where do you draw the line?
Draw the line at the rich people.
Where's the rich
beginning
people?
of the
How
rich.
much income or how much net worth is
I would
that?
say people who make well over. Well, the luxury tax is at 57,000, I believe, right? That's where the luxury tax is. So if you buy a car that's over $57,000, I
Yeah.
think 50, you get charged a luxury tax.
Right.
Now we bought a car, brand new, and we were well aware of this tax, and we went well past that number. In fact, we were a couple of thousands off. So we were charged with a luxury tax.
Yeah.
Now, I would consider myself a middle class member, but I live in a townhouse, and a townhouse is not a actual house, which means that I'm not a, high member of this society, which is
You're not rich.
Rich.
Yeah.
And if I were to get that $2,000, I would people would just get pissed off. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know
they're
Andrew Yang?
No, I did not.
Andrew Yang was a presidential candidate in the United States.
Okay.
And he apparently he's done all the math, like he's done all the economic calculations, and he says that universal basic income would be really good. And that was his platform, was that he would implement it. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast, so you can see what his argument is if you check it out. But yeah,
I don't.
He says
agree with
it would make things a lot better.
I wouldn't agree with that.
No.
Because where's that money essentially coming from?
Taxpayers.
Exactly. And the taxpayers' taxes would go up, correct? By some sort of percentage.
Maybe. Well, what he's saying is that
I'm saying that the taxpayers, for the rich class, tax is like practically nothing. And for the middle class members, it's a huge part of their income. And for the, people in poverty, even below the poverty line, it's a huge issue. So why that's not even fair. You can look at, there's two classes against one class, and basically the rich versus the middle and the poor class, it's not going to work out. Like the middle class members are not going to pay money to the rich class. That's not going to work. It's going to create abruption in society. It's going to create
you gotta check
protests.
out the statistics, man, because the amount of rich people getting this extra $2,000 or $1,000 or $2,000 per month is not very many, and the amount of other people who are on the margins of society who this benefits enormously. Like this, he's saying all the money that would be saved in medical costs, mental health costs, crime, all of these things, all of these problems that would evaporate if people's most basic needs were taken care of.
I'll tell you,
would save trillions and trillions
of dollars. So people
of
who are not making money or don't have jobs, they are on welfare, right? And statistics prove that these welfare checks are not being used for basic necessities such as shelter. Some of them are a very small percentage, but you can see that most of these are going towards drug, alcohol, and all that. So what's there to say that if we were introduced to UBI, that this portion of money would be used for basic necessities? Because we can already see people who are on welfare right now are the addicts. Most of the addicts.
Welfare is not enough money to even pay rent.
I know.
So
that.
what if people's basic needs like rent and food were what if people all of a sudden,
that's if they make the decision to use it wisely. People can make a living off of welfare. That can happen literally right now with the amount of money that the government's giving them through welfare. But people don't decide to use it wisely, and it leads them to, becoming an addict. And
it's also just a very, very small amount of money. If it was, the question is, and it's a question, right? It's not for sure. Also, there's an argument for why it's going to be necessary. It might not be necessary yet. Elon Musk says it's going to be necessary too. And that's that technology, the advancement of technology, is eliminating jobs from the job market at a rapid pace, and it will continue to do so.
Wait,
and
what? The
advancement of technology eliminates jobs.
Yes, it is. And this UBI is also going to do that. It's going to cause unemployment rates at very high levels, and not only that, it's going to cause middle class members to become lazy. It's basically like CERB, like what the hell people are getting right now. People are just going to sit around, go to the beaches, tourism will likely, go up, and where's the economic growth in that? Machines are going to run our society. People fear that. Did you know when the Industrial Revolution came, people started fearing the machines were going to take over society, and everything, even like the grass seed. I don't know what the machine's name was, but people were scared, and I think it would be horrible for society, because I think crime would go up because people would just sit around and there would be more conflict, whereas people are busy now because they need to make money and they need to focus on their lifestyle, and they need to focus on this sort of idea of, you got to make money to live, shelter over your head. So a UBI would just make you a lazy piece of shit asshole.
Maybe. That's one theory. The other theory is that people would actually feel good knowing that they live in a society that cares about them, and having their basic needs met. They would be freed up from the terrible, crushing fear that worrying about starving to death puts on people.
You're not going to starve to death. That's not possible. There are so many programs, especially in Canada, that offer food, local food banks. You won't starve to death. If you play it smart, you can become a middle class member easily. You just got to get a job. You just got to change your lifestyle.
So you don't think that maybe this all of the drug and mental health problems you have on that end of society have something to do with their state of poverty?
No, I think that mental health, drugs, and addictions have a huge effect on
relationship to poverty.
Right.
So what if you just eliminated some of that poverty? I think, you know what?
It's not that hard.
You know what Andrew Yang calls it?
What?
Not just universal basic income. He's got another term. It's a American dividend. So you're a part of the United States corporation. United States has produced an extraordinary amount of wealth, and because you're a part of that, because you're a part of this country, we're going to give you a dividend of America's wealth.
I think I could agree to that.
Yeah.
But before that, you were talking about, people, like I've been to the East Side, Hastings Street in Vancouver.
Me too.
Right? You've seen it there firsthand, and I've volunteered there with many groups, and gave them things, and I was like, why don't we just give these guys a bunch of money and then fix their lives up, tweak them up, put them in rehabilitation programs, and get them going. Let's finish this. We can't have this anymore. And we were talking, and it was like, you can't just do that, because these guys have problems, and these problems are not just simple problems. They are addicted to this because their life is shit. Mm-hmm. And it's a huge problem. You can't
imagine taking away the shitty element of their life. It's true, they have these problems that they're deep. They won't just go away.
Yes, they won't.
If you start giving them money, but it's a start. And you know what, maybe you won't fix.
No, it's not, because then they would just end up buying. We have to educate. Education is the best way to get the poverty out of society. And these people are not educated, technically. You can give them all the money you want. I can give one person $1,000 right now there. You can track him down for the next 10 days, and I can guarantee you that money will be gone to shit.
Fine, but what if you give it to them every month and see where they are in a year?
What's to say that they won't be in the same spot?
Nothing. But
what's to say that they will even be alive?
So here's the thing. Well, then there you go. Then we got rid of the fucking problem.
Well, that's not getting rid of the problem. That's just being ignorant in society and letting the poor die.
No, it really, that was a joke. Okay,
yeah, I know.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't mean it. Addicted people in Hastings. Okay,
yeah.
I want the best for you.
Yeah.
But
no, obviously we're just
Okay, but here's the thing, right? They're destitute. They're poor and destitute, and there is no way out of it for them. Right? You would be giving them a chance, and maybe not, because maybe there's a certain, and this is what Andrew Yang and Joe Rogan talked about. There's a margin, right? And some people are on the margin, and some people are on the side of the margin where they're too far gone, and throwing a little bit of money at them is not gonna help them. They're just gonna kill themselves with drugs. There are a certain percentage of people that
Yes.
are going to kill themselves with drugs. They're going to kill themselves with drugs without universal basic income, and they're going to kill themselves with drugs with universal basic income. But there's a certain margin of people. Maybe it's a wide margin, maybe it's a narrow margin, but there's a certain amount of people who, if you took care of just their basic needs, you got them out of that zero that they can never escape from, maybe that certain margin of people would be helped, and that certain margin of people could get out of that place that they're stuck.
I think then education would just come back. Like, you would need education to educate them, right? Because if you can't educate people, like, I think if we give them, I think we need to provide them with the lifestyle, and we need to open more rehabilitation centers, and, you know, not just like freaking buildings that are square and then that have like freaking stupid ass like rooms. Actually, there was this one engineer who created the school in the United States, and it didn't even look like a goddamn school. It was the freaking schools of schools of schools. It was the best school ever. And now you need to watch a freaking the video on this. This is not a school. There's no classrooms. There are no doors. It's just one open building with couches and fun areas and, you know, whiteboards and books, and it's just amazing. Like, you go down, there's stairs, you could just, there's this like this oval room in the ground embedded, and it's amazing. And I think it's the environment that people are more successful in. So if we can create an environment, or the government can fund this rather than give money to every single person in poverty and every single person in the middle class, we start educating the people, get them out of the drugs and shit, where they can become independent and actually start making a living on their own. Whereas that's all that's actually essentially all that you need to do, because there would be no need for UBI at that point. And not only that, you're getting more people in the workforce, and you know, it's good for the economy in both ways.
So you say education, you're talking about schools. You're talking about better schools. You think that would be...
Not better schools, better schools and better rehabilitation centers.
Better rehab centers. We have free rehab available to people.
Yeah, but it's rehab is characterized as this, you need to get better because you're shit. I think it should be characterized as, you know what, this is a place where you can chill out and it's good for you. Like, it shouldn't just be a room with a bunch of machinery or some shit like that, or where you talk to a guy or sit on a couch and talk to him about your problems. That's confrontation. Yes, I understand that, but I think it shouldn't be confrontation. I think you should confront that in a different sense, in a different environment, rather than a room. It should be much more complex and intricate.
Okay, so rehab and
Schools.
education,
Yes.
better schools. So
Actually,
the
did you
government
know-
should put more money into schools, because right
Yes,
now
they
schools
should.
aren't funded very well.
They aren't.
Teachers are notoriously underpaid.
Yes, they are. And did you know that like over 40% of girls back in 2006 or 7, girls, and I think the number of guys or boys was much higher, but before they even reached grade 4, they left school. They just quit, and they ended up in a poverty area, you know, reserves. Many of these were reserves, but many of these weren't as well. So many people dropped out. And before a person can graduate, this is actually, I don't know the actual statistics, but it's a very high percentage. Many students don't even graduate. They just drop out. And I don't know what the reason is, but it has to be the way that education is being, you know, introduced. I think it should be just amazingly, like, I think it should just be amazing, you know, like education. These students, whoever built the school, they want to go to school. Like, it's their chill place, you know what I'm saying? And people are actually, you know what? Their graduation numbers and statistics were way higher. People wanted to go to school. People wanted to graduate. People wanted to learn. And the environment was so good. It was just amazing. Many students succeeded. I think this was not in the United States. I think this was in Canada. And I believe it was a native engineer who did this for the First Nations community. I believe it was Native, because he saw a huge drop in education within the Native people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was that.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. You got to look at the school.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I think you should consider universal basic income a little bit more, though. We don't know what the effect would be, but very smart people think that it would make improvements. Yeah. So, like Andrew Yang, for example. Like, I actually read a book. Remember I told you about the Zeitgeist Movement?
Yes, you did.
Well, one of the principles in that was, it was basically against that idea that everyone would become lazy if society provided for its basic, for people's basic needs.
But then people would have to still work, right? You can't just stop working because you still have to pay that tax, right? How the hell are you going to pay that tax? I think it would be running successful for the first few years, but then after a couple of years, the government would not be able to provide it. Just like the healthcare, I believe in 1995 or not 1995, 1985 or something like that, when they introduced the healthcare system, and it was free for everyone. But what they noticed was everyone was coming in, and the United States was doing this too. Canada was overwhelmed. Hospitals were freaking flooded with people, and they were just so happy, free healthcare. Why don't we just go get this fixed, this fixed, this fixed, It was just that. So what the United States did was they opened private sectors of the healthcare system, and Canada didn't do that. Canada introduced a new healthcare system where they would limit the people, and they would postpone certain things, and they kind of created this rule system where as certain things categorized as emergencies and certain things categorized as not that important yet, So what happened was many Canadians started going to the United States for healthcare, and I think that's going to happen again. I think that's going to happen with UBI as well. I think it's going to fail because people are going to get lazy, and you can start seeing that as well, like in British Columbia especially, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan is very lazy. So
because of the CERB?
Well, because of CERB, but even without CERB, yes, you can see that we are a tourist. Any place that's kind of a tourist area or tourism is an existing thing, I would say it's more existent of more lazy people.
Yeah. Well, why would Saskatchewan be lazy? I mean, I think a lot of our agricultural goods come from
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Not Saskatchewan. Not Saskatchewan.
Yeah. We don't know. And also, like, when I'm talking about technology eliminating jobs, like I actually read a whole book on it, and it was about how there's going to be no jobs, and actually overnight, you could eliminate 75% of jobs.
I believe that 100%.
Because technology does enough.
No, actually, when the Industrial Revolution happened, or kind of after that, the workforce went down from 83,000 to about 60,000, and 70% of the, 70% of developing countries didn't have access to technology. So what that did is it created, the idea of unity we were talking about. Unity was not be able to, you couldn't have unity because these countries didn't have the basic income to even buy, laptops or computers to access the internet, because that's essentially when the internet was created, and it, technology created and it advanced, and that's when it happened. So it kind of, everything, just, fuck it. Yeah.
Okay.
You're just like, what the frick just happened?
So
we're both like, fucking.
But so
but like,
just imagine that trend continued, right? And so because the idea was that agriculture used to employ most people, and then that's down to 5% of the population is in agriculture, right? And then it was like everybody was in manufacturing, right? Well, now manufacturing's all done by robots, so that's a small percentage.
Yes.
And then everybody was in service, and now we've got technology taking over all kinds of service jobs, right?
So then what the hell is the point of humans to live? Why don't we just all, like, what's the point?
Well, we like living, so let's
Yeah.
keep living. But if all of our jobs have been eliminated by
Then how are we going to
machines,
live?
how are we going to make money, right?
Exactly.
So-
So it's not going to work. How do you think it's going to work?
Well, universal basic income is a start, and that's the idea, right? Like
That's
it's
not
a
going to
dividend.
work. That because then it would require us to work as well. We have to work a certain percentage. If we don't work that percentage, you are probably not going to qualify universal basic income.
No, you're going to qualify. That's why it's universal.
No, sorry. Yeah, well, you're not going to. I don't think it's going to run smoothly.
The idea is that it's not going to be quite enough. It's going to be enough to just barely. You're not going to be buying steaks every night.
But you said that it's a start because the world. I'm sorry. The workforce is being reduced and it's being taken over by robots and machinery and all that technology stuff, right?
Yeah.
So then, how are we going to pay our taxes? What's going to happen?
Right. So this is what I'm saying though. Maybe new jobs can be created, but in the meantime, like maybe they're not quite
Ready.
well. Yeah, maybe we don't know what they are yet, right?
Exactly.
But
So
in the
we can't
meantime,
introduce
you're going to
universal
need.
basic income.
What do you mean we can't? We
We-
need to. What I'm saying is, if too many people are unemployed, that's a very unstable situation, and that's a situation where those people need to live and they need to eat, and that's what universal basic income is for. It's to make sure those people don't die or get so mad that they revolt.
What?
Revolt. You know what revolt is?
No, I didn't know what. Yeah, like,
Have a revolution.
yeah. So
Take the heads off of our leaders.
I was just reading something here.
Yeah.
So listen to this.
Yeah.
UBI is a very expensive. So they put a period there for no reason. UBI is very expensive. $12,000 per year UBI would cost the government $2.4 trillion annually. That's annually. Or 1/8 of the GDP. So growth domestic product, I
Yes.
believe. Yes. That's nearly as large as the entire U.S. safety net today. So how the hell do we think we can implement UBI if that's the entire safety net today? That's like virtually impossible. The United States we're already in debt to China about 28 trillion. That's like 28.
Right, but
Like-
it's only $1,000 a month. If you have, an average apartment that covers, just barely the cost of that.
Yeah.
So then you maybe if you live, somewhere, then you can afford an apartment and just the most basic food.
But this is every human in the world, right?
Every human in Canada.
Every human in Canada, right?
Yeah.
And that's after the adult age, or
I'm not sure, to be honest.
well, I don't think, because
Working age.
did
maybe.
you know that the population is growing in Canada?
Yeah.
And do you know that in the United States the birth rate is higher than the death rate, right?
Uh-huh.
So eventually at one point universal basic income is going to have to come to an end because
But do you know how much we spend on all of these other things that people like Andrew Yang predict would be eliminated? Like, the idea is that we spend that much and it saves us that much. It saves us that much on the costs of crime. It saves us that much on the costs of medical costs, on the costs of mental health care.
We don't have evidence for that. Like, we don't have evidence that it's going to reduce crime or not.
Well, you don't have evidence, but Andrew Yang claims to. I haven't read his stuff
he
either.
Claims he that's an estimate. I don't think that's true at all. I think that he's estimating it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like we don't know how people are going to react. Like you can probably ask anyone outside, do you even know what the hell universal basic income is? And I'm pretty sure that they won't be able to give you a straight answer.
Right.
So if people aren't even educated on the topic right now, then how the hell are people going to get how can Andrew Yang have a perfect estimate?
Well, you'd have to read his book.
I'd have to look into that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think it's accurate though.
You wouldn't? Okay, well, again, what if we in a situation, maybe we're not there now, right? But what if we got into a situation where unemployment was very, very high? And,
Well, then
there's also the idea that we're actually holding back technology
yes,
to
we
a
are.
tremendous degree in order to keep people working.
Yeah.
So instead of freeing people up from menial tasks like being a cashier,
Yeah.
we have those self checkouts.
Yeah, but
we could
it's-
just have those.
No, we don't even need self scans. We can just have some sort of really integrated technology where we can just put it on this conveyor belt, or not even that. We have online orders now.
Right.
So what's the need even to go to a store?
Well, maybe people will still need to do that because they wanna pick out their own produce.
Well,
that's some of the rebuttals that I've
but
had to the idea of
I
doing
understand.
e-com.
I know what you mean. But we can have a virtual thing, whereas there's a camera and you're doing a live feed of these vegetables going on a conveyor belt, 24/7, let's just say, and it shows you whichever one you want. It'll be rotating, and it's just going on this conveyor belt like this, and you could just see whichever one you want. And this is a HD or 4K camera, and you can see whatever the hell is there. And if you choose that specific one, a AI or artificial intelligence will tell you, okay, so this is this. Look at the ripeness here. Artificial intelligence is so crazy now that even if we were to implement it, the artificial intelligence will be able to tell you that, what, this is the right product.
Would that be better than you and I having to work at Save on
Well,
Food?
you're saying that technology is tremendously great and that we can implement it right now at a tremendous level, but we're not, because
Would you rather work at Save on Foods, or would you rather that all be done by machines?
well, then that's an argument. And
My argument is that I would absolutely rather not have to do that job. And I'm sure that anybody at Save on Foods would say the same thing.
I would say the same thing, actually.
So-
but then
so-
we're being lazy because we don't want to do anything.
Okay, first of all,
That's
what
just
is
a
lazy?
software.
No one is lazy. Humans are not lazy. We're exploratory, inspired creatures that love novelty and new things. We get bored easily.
We do.
And so there's no such thing as laziness. Laziness is a concept. You know what laziness is? Laziness is when you're so beat up from what you
Society?
have to do.
Or-
Laziness is a response to having to do jobs that suck year upon year upon year.
Yeah, so what we can do is incorporate technology to a certain extent. And first of all, why would you even have a job that you don't like? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, because that's how our economy works. People are required to do everything. We need people and people need
Exactly.
to work.
So then if we don't have people to work and it's just technology, then what the hell is even the point of humans? What are humans going to do? Like,
Right.
so how is it going to work?
Right. How is it going to work? That's the question. Do we want technology to be employed at its maximum capacity to free us up? And then what are we going to do? Are we going to, maybe we'll just play sports all day. No, maybe we'll descend into video game world.
Yeah, but then we're living a false reality.
Yeah.
So then,
Hey, maybe, now this is a good possibility. Have you ever heard
now
of,
maybe we were never meant to go down this way, or maybe some humans made an idiot. Those ideologues made a stupid decision of incorporating technology.
You're right. Oh my God. The, what do you call those guys? The that religious sect that doesn't touch technology? The Amish.
Oh, really?
The Amish are right, man. We gotta get rid of all the technology.
I know what you're talking about.
Amish people.
Yeah, Amish.
Yeah.
What do they live on an island where there's no technology?
There's no island. There's a town.
Well, there's a town and there's an island. Actually,
They got a song about that.
Did you know that they don't have?
Do you know
any
who Weird Al
human contact?
Yankovic is?
Who?
Weird Al Yankovic.
I don't know who. The
He
hell
made
that
this
is.
great song. It was based on a rap song from the 90s
Well,
called Gangster's Paradise.
yep.
And he changed it and made it Amish Paradise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's about, how just it's much better to be Amish.
So, what if they're right to some extent? Because
Yeah, maybe technology, maybe what we're doing is we're building up this thing that's
This
going to become
cluster
no,
of-
it's a new form of life. It's a new life form, and it's going to
it could
take us
be, but
over.
It's gonna yeah, it's
And
gonna
enslave
take
us.
enslave us. But
It's gonna make batteries out of
What
us,
it-
like the Matrix.
yeah, you watched The Matrix?
Yeah, it's a great
Dude,
movie.
it's a freaking great movie.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. So, what do you got to say about that? That's it.
You're right. Well, that's what Elon Musk thinks.
Well, Elon Musk is all about technology, so
He's all about that we're too late. There is no stopping
back.
technology from destroying us.
Yeah, but you see, that's the problem with Elon Musk. Is there is no stopping. He doesn't believe in that. He doesn't believe in that. There's like I'm a fan of Elon Musk, dude. Tesla,
Right, me too.
I like him. He's a nice
Yeah.
guy. Well, no, I don't even know him.
He's smart.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
But he's like, there is no going back with technology, right?
Yeah.
Yes, there isn't. But we can separate from that. And that's where religion comes into play.
Yeah, but what if he's so smart? Because he's in it, okay?
Uh-huh.
He's in it. He's friends with all the people who are making the AI.
Yes, he is.
And he's saying,
He doesn't want AI, actually.
well, what I'm saying is he says AI is going to kill all of us.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yep.
And at this point, there's nothing that we can do to stop it. He's tried to promote AI safety, but he's decided you should watch him on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, I've seen
It's
his
bizarre.
thumbnail.
It's awkward, his conversation, but
Why is it bizarre?
because he's so smart that his eyes twitch when he thinks, and he's like he
That's
says,
just a problem.
no, he says it's futile. Like, it's futile. There's nothing we can do. He's like I tried. I used to try and advocate for AI safety, but it's too late. It's too late. It's done. AI is going to kill us all.
That's hilarious. You know,
Yeah.
he stutters because he has so many thoughts going
Yeah.
on in his mind.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's just, you stutter a lot.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like,
Yeah. So yeah, technology. Technology. We don't really know. I don't know if Elon's right, but
I think he is. Many billionaires are. I don't know how they do it. I don't
they're
know
just
how.
smarter than us. They have a brain that's better than our brains.
Yeah, but I just think they have the capacity to unlock that brain. You know what I'm saying? Like Bill Gates, he predicted the freaking COVID-19 virus.
Yeah.
You see that video?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Well, 5 years ago, he did a TED talk on epidemics.
Pandemics.
Pandemics, epidemics, whatever. And he's a philanthropist.
Yeah.
Philanthropist, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a philanthropist, and he does philanthropy work in Asian countries, and he's introduced all these sanitary devices and washrooms and the basic necessities that people should have. But what he's said in his TED talk, and I watch a lot of TED talks. I do. He said in his TED talk, you know what? There's gonna be a virus, all right, a virus that is gonna affect the entire world, and if the United States doesn't incorporate certain measures, something bad is gonna happen. And frickin' everyone went crazy.
Well,
Everyone.
you know what? That's true. And most people who study viruses know that. Most
Yes.
people who study viruses know that. But
Yeah.
for some reason, the society wasn't prepared for it.
It wasn't,
right?
no.
We know pandemics are things that come and they happen to human beings, and they have throughout our evolution,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just wanted to try this.
Yeah.
It sounds weird.
Yeah.
I just wanted to try that. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My ears needed breathing.
Yeah. So, yeah, pandemics happen.
Yeah. I think every 100 years or so, we've seen pandemics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those are facts.
Right. Oh, what I was about to say was that simulation theory. So,
Okay.
Elon Musk, another thing he said is that this life that you and I are living is actually occurring inside of a computer.
What, kind of like Tron?
Maybe. Yeah.
Have you watched Tron?
Well, Tron is like a video game, right?
Yes.
Tron is, but it's not. Maybe
Actually,
it's-
Tron is a perfect representation of religion.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that after, but you can continue. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah. Some people say the Matrix is like pretty much Buddhist and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But you can continue.
But there's a Christian theme in it too. There's
Okay,
the
you want to talk
Trinity
about
and
this?
the
You want to talk about
Balthazar
this?
and-
Yeah, all right. Well, the reason I believe Tron is like, okay, it's a video game, right?
Yeah.
So I can relate that because we are in a video game, and just imagine ourselves. We have to. So when he went into the video game, he was in that room, right, where that camera. You know what? I think that can actually be real. I was talking to an old friend of mine. I don't know if he'll see this or not, but his name was Don Muse, a great friend of mine. God damn it, great friend of mine. I don't know where the hell he is right now, but if he sees this, I swear to God, contact me, man. Contact me. Leave a comment. We'll get back to you. But he was the best guy ever, dude. He was the best guy. He had all the technology. He had everything. He had pianos. He had like 6 pianos in his house. Lasers. He taught me all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I like that guy.
Yeah.
And he told me that camera setup could actually be real. It's possible. Like the physics in it, whatever he said, he told me some whacked up shit, and I kind of believed him. But he said the frameworks and like in physics, I think that's possible, something like that. But it's just that we're not there yet in science to kind of discover that. But whatever. But as he was going into the game before that, I think that's where you are before you're born into this world. And when he went into the game, he basically had to pass those levels. And when he passed those levels, I think that's what we are right now. We're trying to pass these levels in this freaking stupid reality, right? And his father was there, right? His father was stuck there because essentially he went to look for his father. And he found his father. And he wanted to take his father, but it showed this emotional thing, right? Emotional attachment, and he just didn't want to leave. And his father said, you gotta go back. And I think that was kind of an incentive to, you gotta go back to your house. That's where you live, right? So he went back through that portal, and he made it back home, his true home, because he wanted to live there, but that world was breaking on him. So it's really, really, really interesting. I think that's why I really like that movie. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
So Elon Musk says we're inside a computer right now.
Okay.
This is a computer game.
Okay.
Computer program.
So then he believes in God?
If by God you mean the programmer.
Yes, the programmer.
Yeah. And, yeah.
So what do you have to say about that then?
Then, yeah, it's quite possible that there is a programmer.
Then God exists?
Programmer exists.
Which is the God?
Praise programmer.
He programmed us.
He programmed the computer system, the program. Yeah.
How do you believe in that? How do you understand? What the hell is wrong with you? We had a 3-hour debate yesterday about this.
Okay, so wait, your God is a programmer?
Well, God. Well, I'm not saying God is a programmer, but God created us, so he created this world. So technically, he is a programmer.
Okay.
In that sense, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's much more than a programmer. You can't just define. You can't put words to God. That's why we use the word God.
Yeah.
God is not God. God is God.
Right. So instead of saying like the world or creation, if you take that out of the Bible and put the simulation, and say like instead of God, you say the architect. Right. And it becomes this crazy story about a simulation.
But yeah, no. Elon Musk says that?
He does. He says that we are highly likely to be in a simulated universe.
You believe that on the top of your head because Elon Musk said it. And remember how I said people with power, people with all this money, more people are tending to believe that? More people tend to believe that because...
I didn't say I believe it, but it's plausible.
It's plausible?
It's plausible.
Okay.
So
you didn't say you believed it, but I know.
Elon's an atheist.
He is?
Yeah.
Why is he an atheist?
He's an atheist because he believes that everything is physical. So he believes that there is a base reality, a universe that is physically existent. And in that universe, there's a computer.
Yep.
And that computer is very, very powerful. And it simulates our entire universe. This is a simulated universe.
So then there is a God, technically. He just said it's a simulated universe.
It could be a bunch of beings. No, they're not.
He's
not
just
gods.
putting it in different terms.
Do you know every single time a white person or a Chinese person goes to an African tribe and they see them, they see that person for the first time, they call them a god?
Why?
Does that make them a god?
What?
Does that make the white person a god because when the tribe meets him and they bow to him?
Well, I just think that's a culture that they inhabit.
Well, like it's the Hazda tribe, right? They met when David Cho was 18. He went and met the Hazda tribe, and they believed that he was a god. He came from the stars. That's what they believed.
They believe that?
They were 100% certain of it. But anyway, so
Well,
my point is that
why, then?
these aliens that live in this universe with the computer that's simulating us,
Yep.
you want to call them God, fine, but really they're just aliens. They're just people, just like the white people that the
And
the
you
Hazda
think
tribe
aliens
meets.
are controlling us?
They're not controlling us.
Well, you just said that it's a simulation. A simulation is controlled by a program, and a program is built by the author of that program, which is God.
Maybe.
Hey, remember what you said at the beginning of this podcast before we were...
You know what they did though? If they made this program, they made a program where physical laws
Yes.
determine everything that happens.
Yes.
So if they made the program, then they sparked it off and then did nothing and just let it unfold according to the laws.
Yes. So they've created it, and they is God. And remember how I showed you that proof? So me and Kellan, we were talking on the phone.
Is God one guy, or is he a bunch of aliens? Because in this scenario, it's a species of aliens.
No, not at all.
It's a species of...
God is not even a guy, first
It's
of
a
all.
species.
God is a... You know what?
So this is a different theory, because my theory is that there's a species that evolved on a planet according to physical laws in that physical universe.
And that they've created this
developed
universe?
technology, developed computers, and their computers advanced to a little bit farther than ours are advanced, and then they simulated a universe.
So you're saying just a little bit further, and if we make it to that little bit further, we'll be able to create another universe? I highly doubt that.
That's what Elon Musk said.
I highly doubt that. I don't believe in that one. Actually,
Well, here's the thing.
no, I don't believe in that at all.
Okay, so let me tell you what a computer programmer for the Japanese government, who I met in Thailand,
Okay.
said to me. He said that he thinks that that's impossible,
Okay.
because what he said is that in order for a computer to exist that could simulate this universe, it would have to harness more energy than this entire universe. Like, in order to simulate a universe, because this universe is a whole system.
Yes, it
All
is.
of its physical laws and everything are dependent on the whole thing existing.
Yes.
So the whole thing exists,
Yeah.
right? Which means that you can't just simulate parts of it. You have to simulate the entire thing, which would take more energy than we have in this universe.
Exactly.
So the base reality that's simulating this would have to be a universe with much more energy,
Exactly. Like,
which is possible.
and when we say like just look at the sun, for example.
we could maybe simulate more.
The sun has more energy than we can possibly imagine.
Well, it's got us. We actually can calculate it perfectly.
Yes, we can.
But
the amount of energy it has is immaculate.
it's a lot. But what I'm saying.
What I'm saying. Okay, fine. You can go.
Okay, so
I'm just saying. What I'm saying.
we could possibly simulate universes that are more simple than this one, but according to that computer programmer, it would be not possible for us to simulate a universe like this one.
Exactly. So we can. So the thing is, in our Gurbani, in our scripture, it says, he is the unseen of the unseen, and he is like, he did it, but no one knows how he did it or the way he did it. I mentioned this earlier, right?
You did.
And it's interesting because we won't never figure it out. You will not be able to make an account during your lifetime in this world of how he did it. It's so crazy. That's why through religion, actually through Sikhism, I think you can experience that. You can have that experience of the world. You can get the truth because it says in one of our Sakhis, a Sakhi is a story. It's a real story, a true story. And I'll tell you this one right now. I don't know the full story actually, but I'll tell you some of it. There were many people, I don't know the people who they were, but there were many people in this village, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji was there, and nobody believed in anything other than, there's another universe or anything like that. But one person I believe did. You know what? I don't want to say the story wrong. I'm gonna get the real story.
Just do your best, man. Just do your best.
But basically, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, these guys were gonna chuck rocks, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji said Sat Kartar, and then they all stopped. They froze like this, and they all froze, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji took this guy. He said, "Close your eyes," and before in a blink of a second, Guru Nanak Dev Ji showed the entire universe. Things you wouldn't even be able to explore in a lifetime. Things you wouldn't even explore in the entire beginning from the Big Bang to the end of the world.
Sounds like someone smoked DMT.
I knew you would say something like that, but so the experience. He said the guy who experienced it said he couldn't even see past the like the first few because they were going so fast. And can you imagine that? Can you imagine seeing every world, all the life forms, the truth, just the universe will freaking baffle you. Just the universe, you will be fumbled. Literally, it's so interesting how intricate and everything is.
It sure is. It's vast.
And it's, you will be surprised. But
did I tell you last time that there's hundreds, there's maybe 100 billion galaxies?
Yes, you have.
And each has 100 billion stars. That's like trying to imagine, the $1 trillion, right? It's like, it's more than we could possibly comprehend. I read a book about it, and it was talking about the distance of like the planets from the sun.
Yeah.
How to visually imagine that. So imagine the sun is a tennis ball, right?
Yeah.
Then you would have to go like city blocks away from that tennis ball, miles away.
Yeah.
In order to put a grain of sand to be the Earth. Right? And things like the distance to the moon.
Yeah.
Just the amount of it's all so vast. It's so vast you can imagine. And then when you get to that grain of sand, in order to get to Jupiter and Saturn, like they're a leap of scale. Like if you can see the Earth, you have to like zoom out so much, and then you'll get Jupiter and everything else. Like they're just so everything's so far away. And then the next star over is so far away. The stars are so far away from each other, light years, right?
Yeah.
Light years, and then billions of light years across is our galaxy, I think, or whatever, right? And then it's so many billions of light years to the nearest galaxy, and the galaxies are all spread out. And there's 100 billion galaxies, and they all have 100 billion stars each.
Yeah.
And it's so vast.
But
it's so
Guru
unimaginably vast.
Guru Nanak Dev Ji showed him this. And you won't probably believe it. You'll just think of it, it's just like that. And I understand the viewpoint you're coming from. How can that be real? Where's the evidence? Where's that, right?
Right.
But if you just think about it, just thinking about it, imagine it. And this guy traveled the entire universe in a blink of an eye. And that's how much power God wields.
Yeah.
And just, he was so surprised. And when he tried explaining it to them, they wouldn't believe him because... obviously, right?
Right. You can have that experience. Just smoke DMT.
Yeah. No, but that's your imagination. That would be your shit.
Well,
making up your shit.
Like it's much less likely to be your imagination.
It would
if
be
you
your
experience
imagination.
if you experience that.
No, but that's a material.
an
That's a
imagination.
material drug. That's a material drug that will never. You can't have an experience even close to God. That's actually.
Try it.
No. No. Have you tried it?
Yep.
You've tried DMT.
Seriously. Yeah. I'm not making this up. Like the experience is outrageous. It's not your imagination.
What experience?
Whatever it is, it's not your imagination.
What is it then?
It's difficult to say.
What did you feel?
I felt like every time I did it, I was going to another place that is always existent, and there's an intelligent organization to it. But it's something that we can't perceive normally.
So, if you can believe that bullshit,
everybody who does it believes that.
So then why don't you believe in God? Okay, what did you tell me before this podcast started? Tell me that. Tell everyone.
Which part?
The God part.
Oh, I told you that I found God.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you found God?
I'm a believer now.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Are you gonna tell your friend that?
Which friend?
The guy.
Matt.
Matt.
He doesn't care.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, "Yo, Kellan, what the shit did you just say, bro?" No, but remember that 8.4 million thing? Yep. So guys, in Gurbani, there's this line. It talks about 8.4 million species and how you would have to go to through reincarnation, right?
Yeah. This is all true. I believe it. I believe it all.
You believe it all?
Yeah. We reincarnate. There's a God.
You don't
Praise
sound
God.
so you don't sound so convinced.
What? Me telling you that I
Yes.
believe is not enough for you?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
So you believe in that?
You're reading deeply
Was
into
that-
my tone.
Huh?
You're reading deeply into my tone.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I tend to do that
Okay.
because you know it. Your tone can tell you a lot about
About what you actually believe?
believe in. Yeah, you can
That's
be
interesting.
You can be saying something like
Yeah.
that, but your tone can have a influx or something like that, and you can be totally meaning something else. Like,
Right. So you're a human lie detector.
well, what?
You can tell when people are lying.
You know, are you lying?
Maybe.
You're maybe lying.
I may be.
Was that not so? Okay, so
Because I what I said was that in order to avoid debating with you,
yes,
that I'm just gonna say I found God.
yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
But here, I'll read your messages out to you. My messages out to you.
Yeah.
So remember how we were talking about that 8.4 million thing?
Yeah. I'm gonna grab a Coke while you find that.
Oh, okay, sounds good. I'll
You
just.
want another one?
Oh no, I'm good, thanks. So we were talking and we were talking and we were talking and we were having a huge debate. And honestly, Kellan got really pissed off. This was a heated freaking argument on our phone, and I wish we recorded it. But Kellan and I were talking a lot about the religion, and I was trying to provide him with evidence, some sufficient facts. And in our religion, it says there's 8.4 million species. And he was like, "Holy shit, no way, that's copied from the Buddhist religion. No way, that's not possible."
Well, what
You
I said
that.
copied from Buddhist is because Buddhism uses the number 84, and particularly the number 84,000.
I told you to send me some
And
evidence of
very often, 84. No, I've never heard 84,000, but I've heard 1,000,000. They didn't have a number for a million, so they said 1,000,000, which means a million. But they would often say there were 84,000, monks in attendance of this, meeting after the Buddha passed away. But that was just a number that meant a lot. It was just what they said.
So you said, yeah, I was just tired yesterday, but that is an extraordinary coincidence, that 8.4 million thing.
It is.
So explain it. So what did you gain from that?
So what Google says, if you ask how many species there are on planet Earth, it says 8.7 million.
Estimated. Yes.
And your religion...
It says that an estimated of 1.3 million.
It's estimated based on all the many measurements that they've
Yes.
done of the amounts of species on the planet, combined and statistically
Actually,
analyzed.
right now they're at 7 point something right now.
Well, Google says 8.7.
No, that's an estimate. Actually, it's not even actually 8 yet. They were at.
You mean that they've cataloged?
Yeah, no, they're estimating it. They estimate another extra 1.3, but that's at the rate they're finding new species right now because, yeah, they actually in 2012 or 2014, I believe, it was an estimated 6.3, I believe.
Sure. Well, anyways,
Yeah.
they're currently estimating 8.7, and that's with our modern,
Modern technology, yes.
and scientific
How
knowledge.
far is that off from 8.4?
That is about 97% similar.
And be mindful of this. This was 550 years ago, right? 550 years ago, this information given to us by our Sikh religion.
Did you know that that's actually from the Bhagavad Gita, which is from the
I don't.
4th or 5th century BC?
I don't. You
It
never
is.
showed me evidence for that. So we were
is.
okay. I don't want to get in an argument or anything, but I said, can you send me the exact translation of that?
I don't have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, but
Yes,
it
yes.
says that
in text
it's in
21
the Bhagavad Gita.
2.2, in text 21 2.2, it says something which talks about life forms, but it does not have the number.
Not that page. I found a different page where it says that the Bhagavad Gita says that there's 8.4 million.
I searched it up. That's just a purport written by a person.
It's a purport written by a person that it's in the Bhagavad Gita.
It's not in the Bhagavad Gita. The number 84 does not. It's not actually written in the Bhagavad Gita. But the thing is, in Sikhism, in the Guru Granth Sahib, it says Chorasi Lakh, which literally defines to translate to 8.4 million. Like
Google it right now. Google 8.4 million species Bhagavad Gita.
I did, and it's just showing me a purport.
Then give me your phone, because my phone's dead.
8.4 million
species Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. Alrighty.
Here, let me find it.
There you go.
According to the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita is considered part of the Vedas. The Vedas are older than the Bhagavad Gita. But according to the Vedas, there are 8.4 million species of life. The Vedas are thousands of years old. They're much older than Sikhism. So either this is wrong.
I asked you this. The Vedas are not the Buddhists.
No, they're Hindu.
They're Hindu.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that the term 84,000 or 84 million was used to just mean a lot. I don't know why it was. Here, I'll Google that for you.
Okay.
But
it can't be a coincidence, because in our Guru Granth Sahib Ji, it says
Buddhists use the number 84 generically to describe large numbers of things, 1,000. That was an awkward way to say it.
Yes, it was. I don't know why you worded it that way. But what I was saying is, Guru Granth Sahib Ji says, you said the word species wasn't even invented, but in
Buddhism, 84,000 number used to describe a lot.
Yeah, what I was saying was, before you cut me off.
I had to say that. Yeah.
No, the word G.
84,000. Translating the words of the Buddha. Never mind, that's not it.
So it's currently 3:33 right now. Shit, I should not have said that.
Okay, so here's something from the Buddhist thing. It says that somebody created 84,000 stupas and divided the Buddha's ashes among them all. So that's obviously not true. Nobody created 84,000 stupas, but they use the term to mean a lot.
Can I see where that is?
Okay, you can read that one, but there's many more examples.
I can create a website. And
no, but they use it all the time. They use 84,000 all the time. So
that's 84,000. We said 8.4 million.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying 84 was the number. So the number 84
is not the number. We said 8.4. And
the number 84 in Buddhism. This might be a better way.
84.
Tantric Buddhists of Tibet preserve legends of 84, blah, blah. The number 84 is a conventional mystical number representing totality.
Let me see that.
It says it right there.
I don't believe that.
In Buddhism.
Where does it say? Okay. Both Savitas. Shiva is Hindu. And Tantric Tibet preserved legends of 84 Mahasiddhas who flourished up the 11th century. First of all,
that's wrong. In brackets, read the next part.
The number 84 is a conventional mystical number representing... Okay, I'm going to click on their website. So this is just a dictionary, and there are many dictionaries. This is not an actual dictionary.
Okay, but I'm speaking from experience, Ekam.
First of all,
I'm speaking
you know what it says? You know what it says here?
Being thoroughly versed in the Buddhist
You know what
scriptures.
it says? It says Tantric Buddhists of Tibet preserve legends of 84. That's false. There weren't 84 legends. It was less than that. It was actually under 30. That's false. That's 100% an outright lie. I can just tell you that straight off the bat.
Well, I can tell you straight off the bat that the number 84 is used as
that's a lie.
Conventional mystical number representing totality. So you're talking about the totality of species?
No.
And your religion uses 84, which they actually got from ancient Hindu texts?
But that's not from a Buddhist viewpoint, because you are not showing me the religious text. A Buddhist could have said that at any point. He could have said 56.
Okay,
he could have said 36.
You know where they are. If you care enough, you can find out if the Vedas say that there were 8.4 million species on the planet.
The Vedas? if they say that.
Yeah, because
Okay,
that's the
I'll
claim
look
that
into
I
it.
just showed you.
But the claim I'm telling you is that that's a false outright lie. One of the there were two facts in there that you said.
Hey man, the
One of
first
them are
fact I
lying.
don't care about.
Okay.
The second fact I know is true. I just wanted to show you
How do you know it's
somebody
true?
saying it. Because I've read the Buddhist texts.
But the Buddhist text doesn't have the number 84.
It has the number 84 over and over and over again, used generically to describe totality or a lot.
You have not showed me that number.
I know, but I don't care to. You can look it up yourself.
So, but I did, and I couldn't find it. And when you said you don't care, that's just ignorance.
Why is that ignorance? Why am I ignorant for not caring about changing your beliefs? I don't care about changing your beliefs.
It's not changing my beliefs, but it's actually understanding the truth.
Okay, I understand the truth though. The truth is that that's what it is. It's
But
84.
no, but you said that it's an extraordinary coincidence. It's not a coincidence. How can it be a coincidence? We talked about species, like
What
straight up.
happens next year when the estimate is 9.6 million species?
Okay, we'll figure that out. We're just estimating here. It's not going to even reach there. Don't worry. It's not. I have enough faith in my religion. It's not going to surpass that.
Okay.
Yep. You can look back at this podcast when you're 96 years old or 76.
And it's going to turn out when they finally count them all that it's actually 8.4.
Well, no, you're the one who's saying that technology is so advanced. So, I mean, why don't we put it to good use and actually determine the real statistics, right?
Right.
Actually, I think it's going to land exactly on 8.4 million. I think that's, and then you're going to be like, holy goddamn mother of shit. How the hell is that possible? And then you're going to, you can deny it all you want.
Right.
But I think that there's going to be a time that's going to come, because right now I think we're sitting at like 7 point something, and they're estimating another 1.3 or something like that, but that's an estimate. It's not an exact number. And plus, census data is off. I don't even know if it's census that records animals or anything. I think it is, but they are off by 10 years. It's every 10 years that it's conducted, and that's actually 30% of that is inaccurate. 30%. So you can do that on your own. 30% of that is inaccurate.
You sent me an article about NASA.
Yes, I did.
Using Sikh texts.
Yes.
You know that article disproved what you were saying, right?
I just sent you an article, but the thing is, I've seen actual photos. I've actually talked to a NASA. Actually, I'm friends with him. He's in Massachusetts, Farmingham, I believe. That's the city. He worked on the Apache helicopter. He works for NASA currently. He's part of the parts sector or something like that. And he's like, yes, no, that is a true claim, because he's met with the priest who actually does the Sukhasana and the Prakash, which is the morning ritual and the night ritual of our Guru Granth Sahib. So he's met with that person, and you don't have to believe it, because the media obviously has, instigators and people who don't want to agree with something.
Right. It's a conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy, because I know it's true. I've met people, and if I know it's true, then what does it,
Exactly.
Yeah.
What does it matter? Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, it does matter, because you got to prove your point. And
what's my point? My point is that the article that you sent me was actually from a skeptic.
Was it a skeptic?
The word skeptic was in the web address. And,
what?
Yeah. So the article that you sent me was disproving that NASA. That first of all, it was the idea that what you've heard of is that one woman was a religious Sikh, and she was an astronaut, and she died in the Challenger accident. That was disproven by the fact that her husband was very angry about the claim, said that the Sikh people who were purveying that lie were doing a great disservice. She was an atheist who was actually quite hostile to the idea of religion.
Sorry, I was just texting. Something happened.
That's fine. But anyway, they just
Sorry
said
about that. I do apologize.
The husband said it was a made up claim, and his wife was a serious atheist, because she was a Punjabi woman.
Yes. Wait. So about the NASA thing, you said it was a false thing.
Yeah, that was a false thing.
What did you read in the thing that
the article that you sent me?
proved it was false? Yeah,
I just explained that. You can read the article later.
I didn't even read it, to be honest. It was so stupid of me.
Yeah, but it disproves your claim, but it also there's something
What
in
did
there
they say?
that I'll have to. Oh, I just explained that.
Can you just explain it again?
Okay, so
oh yeah, it is skeptics.
yeah, the claim.
What an asshole I am! Eh?
Well, to your religion, you're an asshole to Sikhism by by exposing the truth about that.
Well, that's not being an asshole to my religion at all. Actually, I think that's me.
You're an asshole to whoever wants people to believe that was true.
It is true.
It's not. So you have
what if I can show you a picture?
A woman who was not religious, who it was claimed falsely that she was.
Do you not understand that? Do you not believe that NASA has used Bibles or religious texts to further understand space? Do you believe that?
Of course they wouldn't.
They have or they haven't?
No, they wouldn't. They use the scientific method. That's what the article explains very clearly as well.
No, that's false. I don't believe in that. 100%.
Yeah, it's a good article. You can read it.
Oh, really? I'll definitely take a look into it. Yeah. I don't believe in it though, because I think whatever NASA can get their hands on, and I think religious text is one of them, is they need to explore. They need to look at both sides of the stories here. Like, then they would just be piece of shit assholes who just look at one side of the story, which is science. And
can I tell you something?
What's the point? Like, what's the point of NASA going into space and understanding something? What's the point? Like, if there's religious text, they have something to base something off of, to prove something wrong, to prove something right. Human beings
are problem-solving, evolved organisms, and they're constantly seeking the next thing that they're going to do. They can't stop. Like, Ekamprit can't stop. Ekamprit can't stop, so he keeps doing stuff, but that's because he's evolved to do that. He's evolved to always be doing something new, always looking what's over the next hill, and so that's why people do what they do.
I don't believe that. I believe that I'm looking for new things, but I'm always gonna I'm just gonna keep going at it. Gotta understand and gotta find out the truth. I think
exactly. So
I think religion is the only way. Religion is the only way you can find that. I think that we were sent by the one. I think that every human on this earth has the ability to reach a higher level.
I'm going to challenge you.
Did you know in the Golden Temple,
I'm going to put a challenge to you.
Okay.
Ekamprit. My challenge to you is to take up a scientific education.
Okay.
Take it to the level of preferably a bachelor's degree. I have an associate degree. It's very possible you could go as far as I've gone and not have the knowledge that I have. I spent a lot of time researching science when I wasn't. Is associate
higher than?
No, it's not high. It's not as high yet. But what I'm saying is that I've just spent a lot of time researching science, right?
So you could probably...
And to be honest, it wasn't until that conversation with Matt and taking the critical thinking course that it all really, really clicked. I told you it was very recent that I finally shifted over into atheism, I think permanently. And so what I believe, this is what I now believe. I believe that whoever takes a scientific education far enough becomes an atheist. And so I challenge you to study science because I believe that it has that power. I challenge you to have faith. Okay, but what I'm saying, science, we know this. We know that science is a method for obtaining actual knowledge.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We know that religion is very often something that keeps people ignorant.
Did you know that through science we can actually view God? Well, there is this understanding that light has hit Earth and it's bounced off, and technically we can see the past. Do you know that? We can technically see the past if we had a big enough telescope. If we go really far into space, we can technically see what has happened. So
every photograph that's ever been taken is seeing the past, because it took a little bit of time, very short amount of time, for the light to bounce off you and reach the camera.
Yes, it has. But even in space, that light... So technically, if we had that good of a resolution and a good telescope to look back, we can see the mystical things that have happened.
We can see the beginning of time.
Of course.
We literally can. It's called the cosmic background radiation.
Yes. We can see the Big Bang. We can see what happened. We can see how the oneness, literally the oneness, emerged and how the material was formed. Yep. That is possible. And I wish science can get there one day, but it's not going to be during our lifetime.
No, I just told you that we already can see it.
No, we can't.
Yes, we can.
You can see the cosmic background.
Yep.
You can see.
You can see the Big Bang.
Can we see? No, we can't.
Yes, you can.
We can hear it.
No, you can see the
Well-
cosmic background radiation, which is, it's not the exact Big Bang, but it's very close to it.
Exactly. It's not the exact. So if you want to see the exact, I think we would need more.
No. What I'm
technology.
saying, you can't see the beginning because it's like it was just an explosion where everything was uniform, right? So it's before we can see that uniform. We can see it. We can see the beginning.
Yeah.
Because here's what we do. It's just about the focus, right? If you focus about 13 billion light years ago, well, 13. You can do this. 13 billion years ago, everything was uniform.
Yes.
Everything, and we can see that wall everywhere we look. Everywhere we look around the Earth, we can see
But
it.
we
So
can't
we're seeing.
we can't see the past.
Yes, you can.
No, because we don't have the technology. That's just like incorporating estimates and stuff like that. Where that's not actual.
No, from my understanding, when I told you that research I did when I was 16, from my understanding is we can see it. We can see all those galaxies and everything that
But
we can
you
see.
did that. When did you do
They're
that
all
research? Like
immensely
what? 20,
far.
did you do that research? Like that was 20 years ago. You did that research, or 15 or so, 18 years.
Google cosmic background
right?
radiation.
Like science is updated now. Like
yeah, so it was a
I
long
was
time
t-
ago when
I
we could
was t-
see a point very shortly after the Big Bang.
Yeah, that's a point. But what I'm saying is that if you go far enough back, and then you look at it, you can see the past.
Of course, every time when we take a photo of the galaxies throughout the universe, they're all very, very long ago. When we look at the stars in the sky, many of those stars could have blown up already.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and the light.
We're seeing
is-
the past.
Yeah, we're seeing the past.
Yeah.
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 Actually, did you know the sun is 8 minutes apart from us? If the sun was to blow up,
Takes the
literally
light 8 minutes.
8 minutes to get to us.
Yeah.
8 minutes from now, like let's say if blow ups now, 8 minutes later, we would have no sun.
Right.
Which is we were seeing the past.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe the Earth is like the world has already ended right now. Like the universe has ended, and it's still gonna end for us. Like what if the Big Bang was the? Okay, I'm just getting into conspiracy, but I think the original, like if you wanted to see God existed, you would be able to see the mystical powers. And I think that you want to see miracles, and miracles have existed. You can talk to people with many miracles that have happened. People who were blind could see.
Yeah. Sigmund Freud cured blindness with hypnosis.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What's hypnosis?
That's ever heard of being hypnotized?
Okay, yes, I have.
Yeah, he
Oh,
would
hypnosis.
hypnotize a person and cure their blindness, but that's because their blindness was had a hysterical root, hysterical blindness they called it.
How can you hypnotize someone that's blind?
Well, you don't actually use the clock. I
Yeah.
think
No, that's a fallacy.
I think that was like something that they used to try. Freud might have even tried it, but that didn't work. Hypnotism was you do it in a different way. It's a real thing. People still use hypnosis in psychotherapy.
How the hell did they do that? Can you make me like sleep or some shit?
Yeah, I think there's a certain percentage that's susceptible.
I don't think I'll be able to be hypnotized.
It's hard to say.
I'm very, very enforced, and I think I'm a.
Well, Google hypnosis. Like, it's very interesting.
I think people who change their mind a lot are skeptical, and I think that they're more. I think they're not as immune to hypnosis.
You think skeptical people are less immune? Well, I don't know. I'm not an expert on hypnosis.
I don't know. I'm not either. I'm just saying that people who are, I think religious people are more immune to,
Maybe. Or maybe they're less immune because they are susceptible to the influence of
No, but
ideas.
that's false, because if they are susceptible to an idea, they would be locked onto that idea and they wouldn't change their mind about that. And
I happen to feel that that's the way that you are.
I am that way because I feel like I believe that. And I understand your viewpoint, but the sufficient evidence that I have from my gurus and their lifestyle proves to me that that's existent, and I can see it today's modern world as well. People are being cured in the holy waters of Harmandir Sahib. One person had cancer, went to the top doctors. They said, you can't be cured. You have this many days. Actually, when his friends suggested, hey, I have a temple. Why don't you come over there? He was actually a Hindu, so he didn't even believe Guru Granth Sahib. Didn't believe in Guru Granth Sahib, but he sat at that corner. There's 4 doors in the Golden Temple. You can search this up, and they significant. Shoot, I'm getting a call. They basically showcase that anyone from the north, west, or east can come in. It's open to anyone. 4 doors. You know what I'm saying? And this guy just goes sits in the corner of the Parikrama, which is the circle area, right, around the Harmandir Sahib, and he's just sitting there and listening to the kirtan, which is the holy poetry, right, which is being sung at the Harmandir Sahib, the Golden Temple, and he's just sitting there, just enjoys the kirtan, and he puts some salt and some sugar and some water. I believe that's supposed to reduce your urinary problems or issue. You don't have to go take a piss or anything like that, right? As often. So that's what he did, because it was hard for him to get up. He's at these final stages of his life, and he was just laying down because he couldn't really sit. And I think it was this one part, and he was just listening to the kirtan. He didn't want to leave because he couldn't leave, and didn't go to the washroom as much because he did that plan, right? He was listening to the kirtan, and he kind of gets this, power in him, this sort of force that just made him sit up. So he sat up, and no one was with him at this time. He was just sitting there alone by himself. And he said, I got up, right? And it didn't hurt me or anything, right? I had cancer. He had cancer. The reports are there, dude. He was not curable. He wasn't. He had his death sentence was literally there. He has this much time left. That's his medical report. He's not going to be cured by anything. He's a Hindu, or I think, yeah, he's a Hindu. And he saw this white jot, which is a white, we say jot as a soul, but white thing, and it circled Guru Granth Sahib 4 times. That's what that's what it says, right? 4 times circled the Holy Scripture, Guru Granth Sahib. And then it came into him. He saw it through his forehead. He saw it was white, and he was like, holy shoot. Like, you would be surprised if anyone saw that. And he said it went in me, and then I feel like he saw Guru Granth Sahib. Like, he felt Guru Granth Sahib. And he went to the doctors, because he walked there, and they were surprised. They're like, there's no cancer. There's no goddamn cancer. There's nothing. And he's living his life.
Again, if you show me medical reports,
I will show you them.
That said that he's got this cancer now, and he went there, and it inexplicably by physical mechanisms, went into full remission. Then I'll be impressed. But if not, it's like I believe in mind over matter. I believe that people can overcome illnesses by changes of heart, etc. But and by religious experiences, perhaps, right? But I think that could all happen within the laws of physics. And it's only things that are outside of the laws of physics that I think are impossible.
I think outside of the laws of physics, there is many things. I think that people are just so centralized on this one topic of physicality and science that,
all you have to do is prove one.
Okay.
Just one.
Okay. Sounds good.
And you will get $1 million.
All right.
Because that guy's still offering.
I don't need $1 million, but still, I'll take it.
It'd be nice, right?
Yeah, it'd be nice.
So prove it.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe why doesn't that guy just go? Why doesn't that guy just have some faith, and why does he have to pay money to people?
Because
he's just wanting evidence. He's still stuck with that materialistic world. Like, you can't. Like,
listen to me.
That's just.
Listen to me. I'm quite convinced, deeply, deeply convinced that that's all there is. And all of this stuff, the lifestyle of your gurus, these miracles that you're trying to put forth as evidence, they're not evidence. They're not good. If you can show me proof, but it's not proof. If it was proof, then you would have came here with it today and been like, look at these medical reports. These are a week apart. Okay. Lots of cancer, terminal. He's going to die within a month. He's cancer free. It disappeared from his body, and here's the proof. Okay. I believe that those pieces of evidence don't exist. I would say, hallelujah. I'm Sikh now.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to the temple.
Let's go.
All right.
Well, dude, That's gonna be at your house. Those reports, I'll fax them to you. God damn
Okay.
it! All right.
But again, I do
I will
challenge
get
you.
in contact with the highest doctors in Amritsar to get you this report. I don't give a shit.
I do challenge you to get a scientific education because you're a smart guy.
Thank
And
you.
I think that if you take it to a certain level, if you follow it to its conclusions, if you realize what the state that human knowledge is at,
Okay.
I think that human knowledge is at an atheist state.
I understand. I know. I know that for a fact. I know. That's why most 60% of these scientists that are scientists now were Christians and now are atheists.
And
What?
did you know that it's very, very much higher than that amongst the top scientists? So they did a survey of the National Academy of Science in England, in the UK, and something very, very high, 97 point something % of them
Why do you
say
think
that
that
there is
it's-
no God.
Okay.
No God.
All right. I think that would be. I don't think that would.
That's
be
inaccurate
because I know a person with a
representation
PhD
of them.
in science or something like that, and he's a professor. He's a professor, and he explains God. He explains.
I'm
God.
talking about the top scientists. Like,
I'm talking
in order
about
to
the
be a
top
member of
scientists
this,
too. This guy's a yeah.
no, you have to be a top scientist. So, and what one of them said.
He's a top scientist.
I don't think so.
You don't even know him.
One of these scientists was asked, "Do you think that you can be religious and be a scientist?" And he said, "You can, but I don't think you can be a scientist in the full sense of the word."
All right. What if being a scientist is just an atheist? What if you're a scientist?
I'm saying just get a scientific education
right.
and see what you can learn, see what you can actually know.
All right. What is there to know though?
I'm telling you.
Physicality.
I'm telling
It's all
you.
material though. Like our gurus are telling us to stay away from the material. Why would I just?
Right, but then you're never going to find out
But you're
how
never
much
gonna
you can
find-
know.
But why would you? What's the reason to know if you
What's
don't
the-
have a meaning to know that? Like you said that we're just gonna know things and then we're gonna die. You said that. You told me that. That's actually on the podcast, right?
I said that
You
I
said
think
that-
that death is the end,
That death is the end and that there's no meaning. You said there's no meaning
ultimately.
ultimately, right?
Yeah, but we bring meaning to life.
Yeah, but that's during when you're alive.
And after, amongst the living.
No, not at all.
Really? So you're saying that the people around you don't matter?
I'm saying that they matter, but I think that there's more to just the now. There's an afterlife.
Right, and I'm saying there probably isn't.
Yes.
Probably not.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
there is.
Right.
So our podcast is. I think we should just end it on this. It's been a pleasure on your podcast, Kellan.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Ekam. Yeah, I do challenge you to get a scientific education because I think that.
I challenge you to have some faith.
Well, I've already done that.
Well,
Have you ever?
I've looked at science.
Yes, so did I before I became atheist.
I understand that, but I have some rebuttals to what you're saying.
Yeah.
We're leaving on a very
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's not great, man. Like I didn't want to debate with you.
Yeah, but I think it's important to, you know.
Right, but then why end it? Well, like, are we really done,
Yeah,
or
well-
is there something else that can we not come to a conclusion? Like,
I don't think you can have a conclusion in a debate with religion or atheism, because essentially it all comes down to whether or not you have the correct faith of, you know,
so
understanding.
what's the correct faith?
The correct faith?
Yeah.
The correct faith, well, you'd have to learn that. I can teach you, but you would have to get it from a professional who's, yeah.
Why don't you just tell me? You have the correct faith?
Well, I try to
What
have
is
it
that?
every single day. I try to have the correct faith. Actually, the definition of a Sikh is a learner, student learner, and I would say, yeah, I'm a Sikh, and because I want to learn every day, right? I'm talking to you right now. This is learning, and yeah, that's having the correct faith, and the correct faith is, you know, kind of living those 3 golden rules and understanding the meaning of life and the meaning of why you were put on this earth. And
Right, but like I'm telling you, I'm a guy who's older than you, who's had
Yes,
more
you are.
experience than you, spent
you are.
15 years in a very similar religion.
Yes.
Very, very similar.
Did you know that true wisdom comes from experience?
Yeah. So
Yes.
this is
You
what I'm
believe in
saying.
that, right?
Yeah.
So there are many different experiences in the world, and I'm sure that you haven't had all of them.
Of course. Of course.
Of course, right? Nobody can attain that.
No.
So I think religion is one of them.
Well, I've had the religious experience.
What was your experience?
Well, so yeah, meditation, right?
Yes.
When you separate yourself from society and you just devote your life to looking inside yourself and trying to determine what consciousness is, what suffering is, what the cause of suffering is, what if there's something beyond this world and this realm, then you can yeah, like, what's that? Why did we get into this? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because we said we were going to avoid
Yeah.
talking about religion.
Yeah. But it's just so hard to stay away from, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, like,
So, but anyway, so I meditated a lot and I experienced peace, right?
Yes.
I experienced a little bit of detachment from sensuality,
yes.
right? Yeah, so when you're in the moment, you feel content. You're not wanting pleasure,
Yes, yes.
you know.
That's
You're
the
not worrying
that's
about pain.
that's the essential. That's the faith you gotta have. But you
Um,
gotta have it until you die. The day you die.
Yeah, but what if you just realize that, like, maybe that experience makes you realize that life is actually pretty good. Life is okay.
Life is good. Who said it isn't? Have you watched the movie Life is Beautiful? Have you watched that?
Sure, yeah.
It talked about the war. You did?
Yeah, of course, it's a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic, right?
Yeah.
Canadian classic. It talks about, you know, how Guido, the guy in the movie, he talks about, you know, even through that war, even with his son and all those internment camps, how he got through it. And, you know, life was beautiful. You just look at the other outlook, the better outlook
Right.
on how life is. And I think that's part of, that's actually Sikhi. Yeah, you just got to have a good outlook, viewpoint, you know, don't have bad thoughts, that type of stuff, live by the 3 golden rules. And essentially you're living the Sikh lifestyle.
Well, so that's great because I agree 100% with all of that.
Yes.
And I would live by those 3 rules. Those are great rules
So
for
then,
everybody to buy.
so then can't you call that God? Can't you call that?
Sure.
Can-
If that's
can
what
you-
God is, then
so
yeah.
that is-
I love God.
Okay, so
Praise God.
earn an honest living, meditate on the one, and just meditate on the one, and earn an honest living, and get the Guru Nam Japa one shakal, and share a little percent of your earnings with whatever. Share 10% of
Do some charity. Do
charity,
nice things for
10%.
people.
Yeah. So then, if that's what you want to define God as, go ahead. That's God.
That's
That
a
is
good rule.
God.
That's all good. Yeah.
So that's God.
Good. God is good.
So then you believe in God.
I do.
You don't need to, honestly. Okay, let's say if reincarnation was a thing, but you live by the rules of God. Let's
Yeah.
say you call that God. Then you don't even need to worry about reincarnation. Fuck it. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Because reincarnation is something you're judged by your actions, your thoughts, and everything. But if you live by
If it exists.
it
It might. I'm not saying it doesn't.
Let's say it doesn't exist
Yeah.
at this point. Okay.
Or let's say it does.
Okay,
Let's
but
just continue with that.
Just
'cause
continue.
That's
with
what
that,
you
yeah.
believe.
Yes. But let's say, why does it matter? Look, what I'm saying is, God. Let's just say living in this lifestyle is
Yeah.
God, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you live this lifestyle. Does it even matter at that point if you believe in reincarnation or not? Because
No, I don't think it
exactly. So then, if you live by this lifestyle,
does. Yeah.
then reincarnation won't affect you because you're a perfect human being.
You're gonna have a good life too.
a good life. So then you
It's a
believe in
good,
God.
positive
Then you
outlook.
believe in God,
Sure, I believe in God.
and then you live by the Sikh lifestyle.
That's why that's a good thing to say. If somebody asks you if you believe in God, say, "Well, what do you mean by God?
Yeah.
What do you mean by God?" Because there's certain gods that I can get behind. And if that's
Yeah.
God, then I'm all for it.
Then okay, so then you're a believer
I'm
of
in.
God.
Yeah, I believe in God.
All right, man. Kellan.
Kellan believes in God.
Kellan. Believer of God.
Good. So now we can move on past it. We don't have to
Yes,
end
we
our
can.
podcast
We don't.
early.
Well,
Now we can talk about the Amazon. Oh, I should tell you some of my jungle stories.
Yeah, just saying that's the definition.
Good. Well,
So then you live by the Sikh lifestyle. You can.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Give me a dagger. I want to carry one of those.
Well, that's a Gursikh.
Yeah.
There's a Gursikh living by the Guru's
Gursikh.
lifestyle.
Okay.
A Sikh is what I'm describing you as. You're a learner. You're gonna always learn until the day you die.
Yeah. I love learning.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give up learning. Learning
Exactly.
is an important part
So
of
then
my
all,
life.
all you need to do is live by those virtues and live by that lifestyle. That essentially that's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. See, it seems like when we were having that argument that we just had, sorry everyone if that was a little uncomfortable,
We like uncomfortable.
but like it seems like you and I get polarized as if we're on opposite places.
I think that's true.
But it doesn't need to be that way.
It doesn't.
And it might be a habit of mine, like my
It's
own
a
bad
habit of mine,
right?
actually.
So it's like
It is. I admit to that because
Yeah.
this is not the first debate I've had with religion. I've had I've met many atheists and I've met many Jewish people. I've met many Catholics and
Yeah.
they've explained to me this, that. But I just think religion in general versus atheism, it's a controversial topic, and it wasn't just now. But if you date it back 1,000 years ago, or even 600 years,
conversation's been
same
going on.
conversation.
Yeah. And it's like I'm open to reincarnation being real. I'm saying right now I don't believe. I think maybe not. Probably not.
I mean, does it matter right now? Because if
But-
you're living a good lifestyle, then you're just going to be judged by that, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say you are going to be judged by it, but
But
let's just say if you're not going to be judged by it, it's the correct thing to do. Like,
Yeah, it's a better way to live.
It's a better way to
It's a
live.
much better
so
way to
then,
live.
if that's the way you want to live, then live
Right.
by the
And
lifestyle.
we don't know. Like we don't understand consciousness. We
Yeah.
talked about that, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what happens after death. And some of the smartest people that I like to listen to say the same thing, right?
Yeah.
In fact, Joe Rogan believes in reincarnation.
Uh-huh.
Right? He thinks his DMT experiences just prove that there's other realms of existence and
Is
we're not
DMT a
bound to
drug?
our body.
Is it a drug?
It's a chemical substance that interacts with your brain in such a way that it seems like you leave your body. You leave your body behind. There's no body when you're zooming through hyperspace because you're laying down with your eyes closed. That's how you have to do it. And you're just seeing and experiencing the most outrageous things. It's all visual. It seems to be moving and changing. And there's so many different descriptions of it, right? It's geometric shapes of brilliant color and clarity, and they're shifting and morphing and doing strange things. Sometimes you'll see like what looks like Joe Rogan. I most recently heard him say like there was a bunch of jesters, like the Joker on a deck of cards, like laughing and giving him the finger.
Yeah.
Right, and he thought that was like a message to not take himself so seriously. He really thinks that he's communicating with other beings in another dimension.
You know what? It could be that, but in Sikhi, it says that Pauterapang Khaladi Mera Jeet. There's a higher pleasure that can be attained, and it's a permanent pleasure than marijuana or anything like that, right? But it's a permanent pleasure. So if you like what you're saying, then there's a bigger pleasure. And obviously, people are not going to be like, "Oh, where's the evidence in that?" Right? But
Well, Buddhism says the same thing.
yeah,
And yeah, I think that it's possible for these monks to achieve a state of being
Yes.
where they're not dependent on pleasure, sensual
yeah,
pleasure.
exactly.
And that is
Exactly.
a state of bliss. That's a state
Yes.
of independence that brings your mind to incredible peace. Yeah, and I've seen these monks who have achieved that, right? And it's kind of amazing.
I've seen many people who have achieved that as well. It's very amazing. The state
Right.
of mind, the powerful, like you feel that vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That vibe is there.
They're telling you like sensual pleasures are small. They're,
What
they're,
if
they're not that great, right?
Like I know many people like we can talk about dimensions, like
Yeah.
third dimension, fourth dimension. Like I think that they're interacting on a whole new vibration. A vibration
It's
that
certainly different because
It
everybody
is.
else is chasing sensual pleasure, and,
Yes.
and the sensual world is all that they care about.
yeah.
But these monks are certainly operating from a different place, a
Yeah.
place of non-reliance on that. But, you know, as a human being, they still need to feed their bodies, and
Yes,
they still
they do.
need to
Yes,
clothe
they do.
themselves and
Yeah.
shelter themselves.
Yeah.
And so, but they do that in a very, very simple way, and they do it because they're not personally involved. Well, they're not personally invested in gaining pleasure, right?
Yeah.
Then people actually support them. People support them in the endeavor to
Yeah.
attain that state of non-reliance on
Yes.
sensuality. And so they live as monks. People provide for their basic needs, and they do so with happiness and joy because they feel like it's a good thing to give to someone who is living in such a holy way, because
Yeah.
they're harmless beings too. They're
Yes.
not
Same-
out to
same
hurt
with
anybody.
Sikhi. Yep.
They're teaching people,
Yeah.
hey, like all of this sensuality and stuff that's causing you to experience so much trouble
Yeah.
in your life. If you were to disengage a little bit, like they're going all the way with disengagement, but if they're saying if you disengage a little bit, then maybe you wouldn't suffer quite so intensely as you do, right? Like maybe your desires, your sensual desires, are getting you into all kinds of trouble, and you're ending
Yeah.
up in jail and
Exactly.
fighting
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
So in Buddhism, you call them monks. In Sikhism or any actually Hinduism, I think I don't know what they are, but we call them bhagats.
yeah,
So basically, they're equivalent to monks. I think. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a translation.
sounds right.
Yeah. And they are connected through the 10th gate, where liberation is attained with Waheguru.
Is that related to the word Bhagavat, like from the Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavat means like, it basically means venerable, like holy one.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's just probably the
So
similar
bhagat.
term. Bhagavat,
Yeah,
Bhagat. It's probably
yeah.
related.
It is probably related. I mean, all these words are actually, from essentially
From India.
Yeah, India.
Yeah.
And I think we can even see it now through geographical areas. There's many. The way people talk is much more different than the people in, I think, Central India.
Lots of different
Lots of
dialects
accents and dialects.
yeah.
Yes, and we categorize them as the Malawi and the the other people. I forgot their name, but yeah, we can see how it's spread out. Many people, when India was essentially split with Pakistan, I think in 1947, many of the people went very east. Some stayed in the west near the borders, and then some went very north. And you can see the language changes because they weren't in that central area at this point. They all split. They all had these different languages. The new generations didn't get it correctly, and that's how it kind of happened. But I think that's how it kind of changed.
Yeah.
Many of these words.
So you
been
were
descended.
saying Bhagats.
Yes,
Yeah.
the holy one.
Yeah. They're similar to monks.
Yes. And I believe that they are connected to the one.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. One.
The
Yeah, it's
one.
like that term, like I told you, like an atheist thinks that all physical matter in the universe is part of a whole.
Yes.
So there is something called the one.
Yeah.
Right?
We can say the universe is God because God is wielded in the universe. So we can say that. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
That the universe is God.
Yes. Or that God is wielded in himself in this universe, and then essentially we are a product.
Right. Yeah, I just wonder, like, is consciousness, because I've known about researchers that want to find out if telepathy is possible. They want to find out if there's some kind of a connection between minds, right? And there's one researcher who became an atheist, Susan Blackmore, right? She was involved in research on telepathy, and her conclusion was that telepathy doesn't occur, and that's because she did many experiments that had negative results. And what happens, like in science, you have to publish your findings, right? And if you don't have interesting findings, you don't get published, right? So they actually have journals that try to study things like telepathy. There's something called parapsychology, study of the paranormal, and So they have journals. It's a whole field of science that exists in the United States. There's many universities involved in that type of research. But what she thinks is that when things do get published, the findings are only by chance. Because basically, in order to consider a finding significant in science, there needs to be only a 5% chance that it was a coincidence. So it has to be 95% accurate. 95% certain, sort of.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's how statistics is done. That's how, when you have a significant finding, it needs to be less than a p-value of less than 0.05. So that's a significant result. If it's any more than that, then it could be just a
fake result,
a coincidence or whatever, right? It's unlikely to be a coincidence if you have that significant result. And then when you get significant results, you publish that. But the problem is that if you don't find a significant result, you don't publish it. You just put the whole study in your file drawer, and then you do 20 more studies, right? And if you get insignificant results 19 times, but then you get a significant result on the 20th time, then that's just chance. That's just a coincidence that you got that, right? Because that 5% that you want to get within in your study, if you do 20 studies, then that's what would be predicted if you were what you doing on your phone there? I feel like you're not even listening to me.
Sorry, I was just gonna type something for you because I have I have work, right?
You do, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just wondering if I could we could slowly end this. I was gonna say, OMG, I have work.
Yeah.
Like I did earlier, right?
Okay, yeah. Your work is at 6. Do you want to do 15 more minutes?
Yeah, 15 more minutes, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, this is how science works. There has to be less than a 5% chance that the results would happen by chance.
Yeah.
If the effect that you're looking for doesn't exist. So if there's less than a 5%, imagine.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So you have a psychic, right?
So, but why is that? Do you know?
I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
I'll explain to you what that means. So you have a person who says, "I'm a psychic. I can predict whether or not the dice are going to roll heads or tails," right?
Okay.
So let's say they roll a dice 20 times.
Yep.
And they get it correct 15 out of the 20 times.
Okay.
Do you believe that they're a psychic?
No.
Okay, let's say they roll that dice and they get it right 17 or 16. 18 out of the 17. Let's say 17 out of the 20 times. Do you believe that they're a psychic?
I would say no, they're not a psychic because I would need 100%.
Okay. Well, what about 19 out of 20 times? That's pretty. And what if they can do that over and over again?
Okay, if they can do
19 out of 20 times.
Over and over?
Yeah.
How many times over and over?
5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay, out of 5, they got 19 out of 20 each time?
Yeah.
I would say that's very sufficient.
So they're a psychic. Right. So that's how science works. In order to say that we pretty much know something, or we're very confident that something happens for a certain reason, right? We need 19 out of 20, and we need to repeat that, and we need to get 19 out of 20 multiple times. That's what.
Yeah, but if it's 18 on the fourth try, or let's say the fifth try, then I wouldn't believe that.
It's called the replication. No. There is no. It's not like that. You have every single time. You
it has to be consistent.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to get 19 out of 20, and then you can say that this is our theory, and we have good evidence for it. Okay. So that's how science works.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's statistics, basic statistics, right? And so what I'm saying is with this research into telepathy, she found that what happens is when you don't get a significant result, you throw it in a file drawer. But then if you do get a significant result, it would be by chance. I don't think she ever got a significant result, and she just eventually she became an atheist. She said, well, actually, I think that my experience was just something that was produced by my brain. She had an out-of-body experience while smoking weed. She got really high one day and had an out-of-body experience. And then she later came to believe that that's just something that the brain brain produces.
All right. I don't know this person, but
Susan Blackmore. Yeah.
Susan Blackmore. I'll take a look into it.
Sure.
How do you know she got a high? Does
It's
it
her
say?
story. She tells the story. She's a public
Speaker?
intellectual. Yeah. She's an outspoken atheist.
Interesting. I'll take a look into that.
Yeah. And I mean, she could be wrong, you know. Like I said, I'm open, and you
Yeah,
always
yeah.
got to be open.
Yeah, you gotta
There's
be
other
open.
people in that field who believe that there is evidence of telepathy and there is evidence of this other stuff. So it's difficult to sift through it, but if you really wanted to, you would want to look at the literature. You'd want to read meta-analyses. According to my friend Matt, it's not good evidence. It's doesn't add up to good reason to believe in telepathy or anything supernatural.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he's right either.
Yeah, no.
It's just his analysis.
There are many people in India who do that, and I didn't do it honestly, but I think some people do it, but they're very educated on the psychological functions of how a human brain behaves. So maybe it could be that. I don't know, honestly, but I don't do psychology or anything telepathy.
Telepathy, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I used to believe in it though, and I think it caused me a lot of psychological problems.
Like?
I believed in it. Well, fear that people that I would telepathically communicate with people against their will, and they wouldn't like it. So that was like a paranoia that I had, you know, because I believed in all of these spiritualistic ideas, this oneness idea, and I believed that telepathy was possible, and so it created this awkward fear of telepathy. And yeah, it wasn't until later that I said, okay, well, wait a minute, what's the evidence for telepathy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. That I'm not too educated on that, but I'll definitely take a look.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways,
we covered a lot of topics.
We covered a lot of
today.
religion topic for sure. Again.
A lot again.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. You enjoy
Man.
debating?
Yeah, I like debating.
Okay.
I do.
It'd be better if we tried to avoid it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I agree.
There's only so far that we can go.
Exactly. Yeah, I know, right?
But I mean,
eventually, we're still having that perpetual cycle of disagreement.
I guess.
Yeah.
But
we agree now.
Yeah,
so.
we do agree. I believe in God now.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We
Cool,
made progress. Man. All right, man.
All right.
Well, have a fun evening at work. And,
I don't think it'll be fun, but I'll try.
Wouldn't it be good if machines could just do that for you?
Right.
Right.
What if?
And then the government can just give us a dividend, a Canadian dividend, and we can benefit from the technology that we as a society have produced, which is able to free us from the need for meaningless labor.
Or we can reduce the value of everything right now. There is houses.
You mean turn the price? I mean,
yeah,
make everything cheaper.
Yeah, everything cheaper.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. That's another argument too, is that it balances out because if there's less purchasing power, then
there's exactly
prices go down, or the rich just buy everything up and get richer.
Or I guess that. But another problem with that is population growth. Back in the day, population was not as high as now, and it's a long story. But essentially, the government would need to provide homes and shelter for them. So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Lots of topic to cover in this world. It's a big world.
Yeah, see, because when we started this off today, we were going to try to make it accessible to a broader audience by not debating about religion, keeping it light, keeping it fun. It comes
back to that. I don't know how.
It did. And
I'm going to have to watch the podcast to see where it shifted.
Yeah, where it shifted. Because we had said, like, let's try and make it lighthearted and fun.
Yeah.
And
I feel like it didn't stick with both of us.
It didn't. And so, because I said, like, think of improv, right?
Yeah.
When somebody says something, you never say, no, it's actually this way, because that breaks the whole flow of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you should just say, yeah, and blah, 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 and you add
You could just make up a bunch of false shit that way, though.
Well, yeah, you don't necessarily get at truth, but it might be a more fun podcast.
It would be a more fun podcast. We got to do that, dude, one time. We'll just have signs
An
here.
improv.
Say and yes and. You know, we'll do that. We'll do that. Next podcast, it's going to be yes and.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah.
All right, Ekam.
All right, Kellan, man. Thanks again for inviting me to your podcast, and
peace out.
Peace the hell out. Dude, that was a
Yeah.
that was a good podcast.
Okay, I just need makeup.
Yeah.
Makeup! Hair and makeup!
Karen, get over here! Can you just like? Oh shit!
I'm gonna crack this one right now.
You dumbass! Why would you open it like that? So
didn't.
science. You want to be surprised?
No! Stop it! Stop it! It's gonna be flat now. What are you doing? You ruined your coat. It's flat Coke now.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Oh shit! It's in work. I can.
Ah!
Ow!
Okay.
Okay, let's start it now. Okay, no, restart.
What's up, Ekamprit?
What's up, Kellan?
What's up, Kellan?